Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media. And you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are going to be talking about a very interesting subject that is going to have to be addressed from time to time. That's for sure. It will have to be addressed from time to time. We're going to talk about a simple thing, you know, what should be simple. I'll just say it like that. What should be simple. We're going to talk about why Black women should never lower their standards, okay? We're going to talk about why Black women should never lower their standards. All right, now, there's a lot to say into this, but before we get into it, let me take this small moment out. Give credit where credit is due. You know, I appreciate everyone who gets the views, all right? It is a big deal. I appreciate everyone who likes the videos. Very, very big deal. As I told y'all before, you like the stuff no matter how old it is. I don't care if it's from a year ago. You still hit the like button, okay? Always hit the like button, okay? The people who make comments after the streams, appreciate y'all a very good deal. A very good deal. All this type of stuff helps. This is all support at the end of the day. And I got to give shouts out to people who step up and become financial contributors. You know, people, and also remember, y'all, over here at the Roger Report Live, the Cash App is always open 24 hours a day. That's $ the Roger Report. The Cash App is open 24 hours a day. But I want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of today's stream, uh, um, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Okay, I got you out of jail right in time. Right in time for you to be the sponsor of the stream. So I'm glad we got that done. But shout out to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. He is the sponsor of today's stream. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. Can't say enough about you. Appreciate you. And we got you your rent. So I'm very glad about what's occurred in the past few days when it comes to that. So shout out to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Appreciate you big time, my brother. Appreciate you big time. All right. And I want to give a shout out to, when you start a show, it's always great to see people checking in when you get started, and, y'all know folks matter a lot. Folks matter a lot. So also want to give props to what we like to call around here, the first person in, the numero uno, at least for that day. We like to refer to them as the Highlander of today's stream. So shout out to my main man, the righteous teacher. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. And y'all, I know this was a difficult one because I looked at the dates. I had something else scheduled wrong. So I know people was going to another stream thinking that was going to be the one. Man, mistakes happen, but life ain't fair, y'all. I've told y'all time and time again, life is not fair, and you got to get past your own ego sometimes. So I know somebody thought they was going to be Highlander and didn't quite make it, but shout out to you anyway. But shout out to the righteous teacher. Glad to see you in the building. We got a ton of running in the house. Great to see you, my brother. Great to see you. Floyd Thompson is in. What's going on, my brother? Yay, yay. Glad to see you. We got Trill Bentley representing. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. Hashtag Hell Hydra. Great to see you. Great to see you. We got Inspired True Broadcast in the house. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Afro Merchant is checking in. Great to have you. Great to have you. Randall Robinson, I see you, my brother. He done pulled up a seat at the cool table, y'all. He done pulled up a seat at the cool table. Glad to see it, though. We have TB in the building. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Shout out to the Saute Sheriff, Mr. Sugar to you. He said, oh, man, my Highlander status is gone. Hey, man, it's a tough cookie to crack sometimes, man. It's tough, But I knew you was trying. I knew you was trying. Shout out to Trash Bandit. What's going on, my brother? Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. Brother John is in the building. Great to see you, brother. Great to have you here. All right, folks. Now, we're going to have a serious conversation about why Black women should never lower their standards. And, people are welcome to join in this. I guess I have not made it clear that I do welcome people to join panels. After a little bit of monologue, I do welcome people to join panels. It is open for folks. So, if I have not made that clear to people in the past, my bad. But we do welcome y'all. All right, but I'm going to deal with this subject, y'all. Why Black women should never lower their standards. Okay. Now, if y'all don't know, I do talk about things from an American context. Now, shout out to all my people listening around the world, because there are places that are very similar to the things that go on in America. How do I know this? Because people say it. Okay. I ain't going to tell folks about what's going on in their country, because, that ain't necessarily my place to do, but they know it's true, and I appreciate the ones who tune in from other places where you guys have a very close dynamic to what goes on here in America. I know it won't be perfectly the exact same thing, but you have a close dynamic. So shout out to all you folks. But we got to talk about this now. Why Black women should never lower their standards. And there is good reason for it. All right. Now, let's think about this from a realistic standpoint, y'all. Okay, if you're a Black man, you got you a Black daughter. All right. How do you want your Black daughter to move in society? What type of man do you want her to bring home? Who you hoping she would marry one day? And the thing is, when you have a daughter, you know, as a man, you do believe there's a possibility she's gonna get married because men think in those terms. Women, I do believe they have a dream for a while, possibly, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about the majority of black women if they really think their daughter's ever going to get married. I do think they do a lot of stuff because they have accepted that their daughters will not get married, and they're not really pushing it anyway. But you know, as men, I do think we believe our daughters will get married. I like to think a brother would think his own daughter is worthy of a marriage. Okay. I would like to think that's at least how he's thinking. Okay. All right. But, it is what it is. Things can go different ways. But as a black man, would you want your daughter to have no standards when it comes to relationships? Of course not. No one's going to say they want their daughter to have no standards when it comes to relationship. That's crazy. Okay. No one's going to say that. Okay. So now this is the thing. What kind of advice would you give her? There's a lot of women over the internet right now who happen to be black and they don't have what it takes to get a husband. A lot of folks have not come to the conclusion it is a woman's job to prove to a man that she is worthy for him to take a chance on marrying her, because a marriage has no guarantee. Now, I understand there's some women who are really looking for some type of guarantee. All right. And, life ain't fair and they don't want to play right. Okay. Because they want something guaranteed. The women gonna look for men who are multimillionaires. Now, they're not gonna find them for the most part because the average guy just ain't no multimillionaire. So they're not gonna find them. And, I know that causes concern for some guys, but my thing is, you're not being realistic. She's not gonna find them anyway. It's okay to dream, though. It is okay to dream. It is okay to dream. Now, the thing is, what women could do, they could get with the man, get on his program and possibly become multimillionaires together. That's a lot easier than trying to find a multimillionaire that'll take you. Because the thing is, women have to convince men that it's okay to take them on. Now, we got to learn to be realistic about it. And we got to learn to talk to our daughters and talk to women in a society where real things are real. If you pretend there's no cars in the street and you continue to cross the street with that type of attitude, you will eventually get hit. Okay. I know it's nice to dream. I ain't saying don't have faith in something, but do understand the cars are in the street. If you keep crossing the street without looking or caring and you just walk on out there or you dart off in traffic, you could do this all day long and you might be able to get away with it for a good period of time. I believe the average person driving down the street is going to stop for a pedestrian. I do believe that. The average person will stop for a pedestrian. But if you constantly just walk, you live your life, and every time you got to cross the street, you just don't look and you just go right out into traffic. I do believe you might be able to make it for a while. But eventually, you're going to come across somebody who maybe just wasn't even paying attention. Maybe they were sneezing. You come walking into the street, they happen to be sneezing. Somebody happened to be called. They didn't even mean no malice towards you. Okay? They didn't even mean it. Somebody just happened to look down, see what time it is. Boom, they look up, you right there. Maybe they do hit the maybe they do hit the brake pedal. Maybe they do hit the brake pedal. But will it be enough not to hurt you? That's going to be the question. This happens, man. Certain things are just inevitable. Okay? Certain things are just inevitable. So, me, I don't really worry about what they want. But I do think men need to learn to make sure that we're crossing the street and we're looking both ways. Don't steady go out there into the street thinking a car will never hit you. Okay. Now that's how some women gonna live their life. Okay. Okay. So now, if I'm a father and I got to talk to daughters about what their standard should be, okay. If I'm a father and I got to have a conversation with them about what to do with their standards, I'm gonna have a real conversation that's gonna help them. But baby girl, this is what you need to do. What you need to be working on is, are you good enough for a man? That's what you need to do. Now, we got to be real about this, y'all. The average black woman is not good enough for a man. Okay? How do we know this? Because the average black woman is not married. All right? And whether y'all have figured it out or not, when a woman dates a man and it does not conclude in a marriage, that means she's not good enough. It's that simple at the end of the day. I think a lot of men are somewhat confused by this. And I'm just saying based on how we operate. Okay? When a woman dates a man and it does not conclude in a marriage, that means she wasn't good enough. Now this is something men need to realize just as much as women do. Because the average woman thinks she can set some kind of standard that a man would have to, quote unquote, go up to. Now, I'm not saying a woman couldn't take a man's position. We in America, you can do what you want to do for the most part. So as a woman, you can volunteer to put yourself in the position to take care of a man, get married to him, and be with him till he dies, and he can lean on you. Okay, you can go to work, he can stay home. All that's well and good. Okay, all that's well and good in America. But let's be realistic. Is the average woman gonna do that? No, she just ain't. So because the average woman refuses to take care of a man, then none of us need to be moving as if the average woman's gonna take care of a man. She ain't gonna do it. Now, if you ain't gonna do it, I don't need to discuss it. Okay. Now I know there are people who will say things about equality and things like that. Equality means at work. If you work for a company, you go to work, you can treat people as equals while you're at work. But see, once you leave work, a professional, you're in your professional setting at work. Once you leave work, you're now in a social setting. Socially, men and women are not equal. And women will tell you that all day long. Okay. So I'm not saying women can't get men and take care of them for their lives. I'm being realistic. They ain't gonna do it. Now, as men, how does it help us to act like they will do something that we know they're not going to do? That is walking across the street without checking both ways. That's what that is. That is closing your eyes and just walking into traffic, not worrying about what people gonna do. Again, you can walk into traffic as a pedestrian. I'm pretty sure for a certain time period, you might be able to get away with it. I don't think everybody would just get hit the first time walking into traffic with their eyes closed. Okay. I don't think it's going to go that way. I think there would be a lot of vehicles that would hit the brakes. They would actually even swerve over. Some people may even crash their own car to not hit you. Okay. Might be they just instinct. They'll crash their own car to not hit you. Now they totally good. They walk away. You see, you know what I'm saying? The person who's driving, now they got a car wreck to report. Now they got to deal with insurance and whatnot. I do believe there's people who will do that. But could you get away with it day in, day out? Day in, day out, that's not realistic. Okay. Day in, day out, that just ain't realistic. Okay. All right. So shout out to all my hosts, Montag. He say, have you been overseas? They hitting you. I'm gonna just say it like that, y'all. They hitting you. Well, you know what? even though I do believe the average American would try to dodge somebody, you're going to get hit if you continue to operate like that. Because again, one time somebody gonna be checking their phone, they just not gonna see you. Somebody gonna have their head turned because they're gonna be talking to a kid in the car. They're gonna be, don't make me come back there. Their head gonna be turned. Boom, you gone. Okay, and maybe you're not gone, but you definitely hit because they talking to the toddlers in the back seat at the moment you happen to cross. It's just not gonna work out like that. Okay, it's just not gonna work out where you can just keep crossing that street, and never checking in the traffic. Okay, it just ain't gonna work. Okay, but now this is the thing, y'all. We're gonna have love for black women. A lot of us, sometimes men get into a mood where they don't want to admit it, but we're gonna have love for black women because we got sisters, we got mothers, we got cousins, we got aunties, we got nieces. So we're gonna have some love for some black women. Okay. You might not like how they operate, but you're gonna have some love for them. So this is the thing. Would you tell your daughter to lower her standards? Okay, would you tell your daughter to lower her standards? Now, we got to come to a realization about women, y'all. Black women don't have any standards. Okay. A standard is something that's not going to change. Okay. Now, I would even go as far as to say in certain unique cases, you might be able to get an exception to a rule. But standards are generally something that there is no exception to. Okay. Let's say you want to drive in Illinois. All right. Now, you can get your driver's license at 45 if you want to in Illinois. It's totally acceptable that if you're 45 years old, you can get your driver's license. You can get your driver's license at 50 in Illinois. Okay. You could go a little younger. You can get your driver's license at 35 in Illinois. And I know some of y'all may say, well, that's kind of a high age to get a driver's license. But the thing is, you can. You can. I'm not saying you can't. But you know what you cannot do? You're not going to be 12 and getting the driver's license because there's a standard of 16. Okay, that's a standard here in Illinois. You got to be 16 to get a license. Standard, that means you can't get to it until you're 16. Now, that doesn't guarantee you a license at 16, but the standard is you're not going to get one until you're at least 16. See, 16 is the standard. See, 35 ain't the standard. 45 ain't the standard. All right, 50 ain't the standard. You can get a license and you can get one for the first time at those ages if that's what you wanted to do. But the standard is 16. That means till you 16, we ain't even talking about you getting no license. That's the standard. Now, this is the thing. Do black women have standards when it comes to dating? The answer is no. Okay? Because they would tell you all day long about what somebody got to do. And then you'll find out you ain't got to do it. All right. Now, if you pay attention to women, okay, and thank God I learned this earlier. It was a conversation some women were having. This what brought it to me for real. Two young ladies I knew was having a conversation. Okay. They were discussing how if one guy that you happen to like, say he touches your elbow, and you get this great feeling. They use their own words, but they was basically saying you get this fantastic feeling. You just kind of melt because this guy you like touched your elbow. Okay. They just melt the way they talked about it. Okay. But they also said a guy that they don't like. What happens when that guy, even on an accident, touches your elbow? And they talked about how they would be disgusted by it. Okay. They will find it absolutely repulsive. It's disgusting when a man you don't like touches your elbow. Now, these are two young ladies. I don't know, we about 18-ish, 19-ish at the time, and they're just saying a guy they like versus a guy they didn't like. They said the exact same action. The exact same action. Okay? Two very different responses from the exact same action. Now, the young lady said it. I'm sitting there right there with them, you know? So I hear what they're saying. It's plain as day. We all know each other. You know, we friends or whatever. I'm listening to them, you know, and I had never heard that before, probably by that point, or at least never paid attention to it for real at that particular point. But now I'm hearing these two young ladies agree to this thing that sounds absolutely retarded to me. I'm a man. This sound retarded to me at the time. Okay. Technically, I can't say it don't sound all that retarded now, but it sounded absolutely retarded at the time. Shout out to Perfect Timing Podcast. Good to see you here, brother. Good to see you here. You know, so it sounds absolutely ridiculous. But hey, they women, right? They can do what they want to do, right? They can feel any kind of way they want to feel, right? So hey, I ain't tripping. That's them. That's just how they see the world. It's all good. You know, who am I to tell them what they got to how they got to feel when some guy they like or don't like touches their elbow? And you know, the amazing part was it was just an elbow. It's not like somebody touched their breast. It's not like somebody touched their butt. Okay. It's not like we're talking about somebody trying to, you know, hug them or caress them or something like that. They were just simply talking about being touched at the elbow. All right. But these women disagree. I mean, excuse me, the women totally agree with this concept, you know. So I say something to some other young ladies because you know it's a room full of men and women. You know what I mean? I mean we young folks at the time, but I asked some other women. They say yeah, they in 100% agreement as well. Okay, this is a very real thing to women. So why is this important? Because we can say women have standards. Okay, we can say that all day long. It's a lot of men who actually want to believe that women have standards because a lot of black men, because you grew up in America and you were trained in white supremacy yourself, you don't like black men either. Now, a lot of black men don't necessarily hold on to that as much because when you get out into society, you know, it may not come to your mind consciously, but you start to pick up on the fact that America don't like black men in general. So while you're going through your phase of not liking black men yourself, okay, you may start to see that things work a little bit different here and there. So women, you know, men want to believe they have a standard because a man doesn't want to believe he won't fit the standard. The way we are trained as black men, we are socialized that women are the top of our society. Now, we accept that women are not the top of anybody else's society, but when it comes to black America, the average man was trained that a woman is on top of society. She's supposed to make the rules. So the thing is, as a man, you want to feel like the women want you and they don't want the other guy. So you want to believe a woman has standards. And this can come out in all kinds of ways, y'all. You know, on my other channel, y'all know I covered that story about Joy Taylor. Okay. And Cam Newton did say some things to Jason Whitlock. Okay. Now I'm gonna say what I believe. This is why I believe Cam said some of the things that he said toward Jason Whitlock. Because Cam Newton wants to believe that because he is who he is built the way he's built. He's as tall as he is. He's as strong as he is. He has a certain body type. You know, he's a good, healthy man. You know, I'm not hating on Cam Newton. Okay. A lot of women find Cam Newton attractive. I'm going to say, I believe he's a handsome brother. You know, he's a cool guy for the most part. He's a cool guy. Okay. He sounds like somebody I would hang out with, you know, from what I know of Cam Newton. But why did he say something toward Jason Whitlock when Joy Taylor became a story? Because Cam wants to believe that Joy would never touch a man like Jason Whitlock, but she would touch a man like Cam. He wants to believe there's a standard there. I'm quote unquote better than Jason. Now, if we listen to Joy Taylor's own words, Joy Taylor ain't got no standard. It just is what it is. She said if you look nice enough, okay, if you're funny enough, okay, if you got some money, basically she'll bust it open. Joy said that. Okay. And when I covered that story, I had clips of her saying what she said, y'all. And it ain't like I'm making it up. I had put a clip in there of her saying what she said on some show about how she looks at men. Now, I can understand that may tick off someone like a Cam Newton who believes, he wants to believe I'm a standard and I'm better than that other guy. Because that's how black men are trained. Most of us are not trained that a woman's supposed to hit your standard. We're trained the other way around. I'm supposed to hit her standard. So, he want to believe that I'm a better man than Jason Whitlock. And a lot of black men get caught up into somebody else being a better man. It's silly for the most part, but a lot of us, we get caught up in that, especially when it comes to women. Because a lot of us, we don't know what manhood is disassociated from pleasing some woman. Okay, we don't know where manhood is disassociated from pleasing some woman. All right. But Joy says she ain't got no standards, man. It is what it is, man. That ain't me. That's Joy. But Joy was just keeping it real. Joy said in the right conditions, basically, I bust it down for anybody. And if you ain't got certain things, all you got to do is go get some money and I'll bust it down. Now, that's how Joy want to live her life. I ain't mad at her. That's on her. Okay? That's on her. She's not my wife, so I ain't tripping. But I'm just using her as an example. Joy said, look, all you got to do, if you ain't, you don't look the part, if you're not funny enough, you can go get you some money and you can still bust it down. It is what it is. Hey, that's her right. She in America, right? She's in America. All right? So now the thing is, does Joy have a standard? No, she doesn't. Anybody can potentially bust her down. Okay? How can she have a standard if anybody can potentially bust her down? And I know a lot of guys will say, well, she don't want you to have a certain type of money. No, Joy said, if you're funny enough, you can tap. She didn't say it in these exact words, but that's what she said. She said, if you funny enough, you can tap. So I know some people will say, well, no, you got to have money to mess with somebody in Joy Taylor's position. Well, that ain't what Joy said. She said, if you're funny enough, you can tap. If you're handsome enough, you can tap. You got enough money, you can tap. So she gave multiple avenues where a man could tap, which means, ain't no standard, bro. There is no standard. So I'm not saying Cam Newton can't bust her down. Clearly, Cam Newton can bust her down, especially when you look at what she said. But can Jason Whitlock bust her down? Well, if I go by the words that came out of her own mouth, absolutely. So when Cam got upset, or whatever his emotion was, or just him taking into account whatever it was that he said some comments toward Jason Whitlock, I was like, Cam, I rock with you in a lot of areas, brother. But this ain't the one, man. This one you need to kind of let go. This wasn't the best move, brother. This just wasn't the best move. It just is what it is. Not saying Cam ain't a good guy. Okay, I'm just saying in that one particular scenario, he was off his game. Okay, I just say that. Cam was a great quarterback, but that would have been the day where he was off. That would have been the day he threw 3 interceptions. Okay, I'll put it like that. That would have been a 3 interception day. Okay. Now, the thing is, if I had a daughter, would I want her to get married? Absolutely. What would I do with my daughter having one? I would encourage my daughter to hold on to her virginity. Why? Because I know you can will and deal with virginity and the way that you can't will and deal without. Okay. when you have virginity as a woman, there's some willing and dealing you can do. And people ain't gonna really even trip like that. You know, if a woman's a virgin, I'm not gonna pressure her no sex. Hey, I'm having sex when I get married. That's what it is. Cool. I'm not even tripping. Now let me go out with a woman who ain't a virgin. I ain't trying to hear nothing about how she gonna quote unquote make me wait. I ain't listening to none of that. I ain't listening to none of that. You are not a virgin. You don't get to do what virgins do. It's that simple at the end of the day. You don't get to do what virgins do. You a virgin? Yeah, we wait till marriage. Cold. Is what it is. That's how she is. Okay? You're not a virgin. You don't even have a conversation with me about that. I mean, we're going to have one anyway, but I'm just saying that ain't the conversation you want to get into because I don't care nothing about what you talking about. I'm going to make some man wait. You know, some women, you know, they listen to that rule that Steve Harvey did, you know, the 90-day rule. I ain't listening to none of that. Okay, y'all. The people who know, y'all know I got a 2-day rule and I do that another day. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff I'm going to go back over from other channels, okay? But yeah, you got 2 days to make something happen. I ain't finna sit there and listen to you about what you got as far as how long I got to wait. You ain't even in position to tell me how long I got to wait for you. You're not gonna take care of me. I am sitting here trying to figure out if you good enough for me to pay for. And see, that's the thing, y'all. As a man, you're paying. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. It's not that complicated. So if I go on a date with a woman, she can quote unquote have her standard. What does her standards mean to me? Nothing, because she ain't paying for nothing. I don't want to hear nothing about your standard when I'm giving you something for free. Okay, if I take you to dinner, you can't tell me nothing about what your standard is for a dinner. I don't care nothing about your standard. We'll go to where you want to go when you got some bread to pay for it. It's that simple at the end of the day. And I understand there will be some women who will say, well, I got money already. Are you paying for this date? Because if you ain't paying for this date, what do I care about what money you got? You can be a billionaire. Are you paying for this date? Because if you're a billionaire that's not going to pay for the date, you might as well shut up about your money. Your money don't count. Okay. See, I'm a person that lives in the real world. I understand when I cross the street, I need to look both ways. Heck, it could even be a side street. I still need to look both ways. All right. The average person may know what they doing, but what if I cross the street when the brand new driver is out there? What if the brand new driver see me, panic, don't do nothing, and just keep going forward? Boom, I'm hit. So, standard. Okay, well, she has a standard. Let's be realistic, y'all. What woman dealt with a certain kind of man who didn't deal with another kind of man? And see, this is something a lot of black men haven't paid attention to because we got caught up in nonsense. Honestly, we just got caught up in nonsense. We got caught up in women just saying ridiculous things, trying to get stuff out of men. Okay. You got bum women with multiple kids out of wedlock, right? And these bum women would tell you they got a standard. Now, I brought this to the table a while ago because I was doing some digging, y'all. I came across something from 2017 talking about babies being born in hospitals. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure it stayed like this, but I'm going to just say this one was from 2017 when I brought it out. Saw this information about babies being born in hospitals. When it came to black women, 72% of black women had children out of wedlock. And when it came to the men attached to these women who had a baby in the hospital in 2017, it said more than half of those men had a job or no job at all, and they made $10,000 or less. Yeah, $10,000 or less, which means these people ain't employed. There's no legal employment going on. You know how little you got to make per hour to work the job for a year and only make 10,000? So we're talking about a bunch of folks who ain't got no job. Now, I personally have, I've told y'all before, I do my own surveys from time to time. And one thing I like to ask women when they have a child is, what was the man that they had the child by doing at the time that she got pregnant? Okay. Now, why do I like to ask this? Because I want to see what's real. And I make it very specific. When you got pregnant, not when you had the baby, not this, not that. When you got pregnant, did the man you got pregnant by, was he employed? Did he have a job? Did he have a business? Was he in the military? Or was he in college or some form of trade school? Okay. And the normal answer is he wasn't doing any of them. Now, I understand deep in your heart as a black man, you want black women to have standards. I get that. Because you want to think of them in a certain way. Now, I love black women. I would love for the truth to be different about them. But the truth is what the truth is. And I can't make the truth different. Okay? I don't have that ability to make the truth something other than what it is when it comes to what black women do. Okay? Now, I understand y'all watch women on the internet and they say all kinds of stuff about standards. I asked them about who got them pregnant. Usually the man did not have a job. Okay? See, some of y'all got caught up in broke talk. I wasn't even asking, was he broke? I'm just asking, was he employed? Okay? If he wasn't employed, did he own a business? Maybe he's an employer of himself or possibly an employer of others, or maybe he employs himself and others. Okay? Now, I wasn't trying to say he had to be at that position, because I also asked, was he in the military? Okay? Was he in the military? All right? And if none of that was going on, was he in college or some form of trade school? Was he furthering his education? Okay? Was he furthering his education? And the usual answer was he wasn't doing any of those things. Now, why is that important? Because in our society, if a man is 18 years old and he has his college diploma, those are the next steps. He got to make a choice. You got to go become a business. If you're going to be a productive, functional brother, respectable brother, you're going to have to pick one of those. Unless you got money already, maybe your family got a bunch of bread. But if you don't come from some super wealthy family, you're going to have to pick one of those. Are you going to become a business owner? Are you going to go get a job? Are you going to join the military? Or are you going to go to college or some trade school to further your education? Because you can't just be a guy doing nothing and you good with us. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. So what did I find out? No matter what they said in the news about black men, okay? No matter what the magazines said about black men, no matter what the books said about black men, fictional books. I found out women read a lot of fictional books, okay? No matter what the movies said about black men, okay? No matter what some professors said about black men. You know what I started putting together? Black men ain't the problem. Black men ain't the problem. Okay? I hear women complain, you niggas ain't got no jobs. Wait a minute. So with all these employed black men out here, you somehow found a way to have a baby with a guy that wasn't employed. All these employed dudes, and you had a baby with a guy that wasn't employed. And then some woman would tell y'all need to rise to her standards. What standard do you have? A nigga with nothing, because y'all know that's how she look at him. A nigga with nothing got you pregnant. Guess what? Everybody has nothing available. We born with nothing. We don't even have to achieve that. All we got to do is beat the other sperms to the egg and be born You know, I guess maybe being born healthy, okay? No real defect when you're born, like most children are. And boom, you got nothing. So what does it take to get a black woman? Okay. Now I understand y'all hear a lot of rhetoric. I get that. But all you got to do is have the same thing some newborn baby has. That's all you got to do. Get the same thing that you achieved the day you were born. Nothing. You don't need no job. You don't need no business. Okay. You don't need no military career. And you don't need no education. And I'm talking about beyond high school. Okay. You don't need none of that. Not for black women. Because what they doing, they busting it open for men who ain't got none of those things. Yet, black men get caught up in listening to women say nonsense. And now all of a sudden, people think that they got to do some extraordinary things. Like you got to climb Mount Everest to qualify for a black woman. Ain't never been true. Possibly will never be true. Just is what it is, man. Now, I understand how this could sound to people. I'm just telling the truth. All right? I'm just telling the truth. Now, if y'all mad at me for what the truth is, keep in mind who made the truth what it is. All right? I ain't got no daughters. So I never directed my daughter on what her quote unquote standard should be. Now, let's be realistic. Does a woman who gets pregnant by a guy who has no job, okay, no business, has not joined the military, he's not in college or some form of trade school, does she have standards? Of course, every woman gonna want to say she got standards. We can't see it reflected in reality, though, and that's an issue. If we cannot see the standard reflected in reality, I'm just gonna accept that you ain't got none. You know, now you can be mad that I came to the conclusion that you ain't got no standard, but if you live a life as if you have no standards and you're mad at the conclusion I came to, I think something wrong with you. It's not me, it's you. Because you directed your life on how you want your life to go. I'm not the director of your life. Now, if I'm your husband, yeah, you can hold me accountable about what my wife is doing. But some random unmarried woman, no, I don't. You can't hold me accountable for her. I ain't trying to hear all that. That's nonsense. And that's what goes on in this American society. You got a lot of folks trying to hold black men accountable to what a bunch of unmarried women did, as if that's our business at the end of the day. That ain't our business. Okay, that is not our business. All right, y'all. Now, I did notice I forgot to put the link up for people to join. If they want to join, I just threw that in the chat, but I also pinned it. So you're available if you want to get in on the conversation. That's up to you. Now, this is the thing, y'all. I got the answer for what my daughter is doing. If my daughter is young and she lives at home with me, I got the answer for her. I ain't got no issue answering for my daughter. If I'm married, living with my wife, I got the answer for her. I ain't got no issue answering for her. Okay. But asking me to answer for women who are not married to anybody, they don't even live in their father's home. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? You crazy. That's crazy talk. Now, there's no way for me to look at the average black woman and come to a conclusion that they have standards. So one of the main reasons I would never tell a black woman to lower her standard is because I know the average black woman has no standard in the first place. Now, some of y'all will say that's being mean. No, I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this as a joke. I actually love black women, and I actually want to see them do better. But that doesn't mean I should come out to the public and start lying. I don't need to lie. Okay? I ain't got to lie. What good is that going to do me to come out here and start lying to y'all? The average black woman has no standard. In general, black women don't have standards. Just period. They just don't. Now, this is the thing. As men, at some point in time, we have to accept that they don't have standards. Some of y'all will look at a woman and y'all, for whatever reason, you see something about that woman. You see something in that woman. Maybe the family she comes from. Maybe it's the money she has. Maybe it's how she dresses or something. And you'll see that woman and you will make certain assumptions about that woman. Well, let me tell you, when you really start digging into what's going on with women, there is a man that she will deal with that you will understand why she's dealing with him. Okay? You will understand why she's dealing with him. Maybe he's suited and booted all the time. Okay? Maybe he got a nice little corporate job. Okay? Maybe not a corporate job, but maybe he is working. He down at FedEx. Okay? You know, maybe he work at the airlines. Okay, maybe he's a pilot. Maybe he's a guy, directing the traffic. You know what I'm saying? He's helping the planes land. Maybe he's the guy putting luggage on the planes, getting luggage off the plane. All type. But you look at a woman and you say, okay, I see why she's dealing with him. But then if you look at her, you will also. This is normally what goes on with women. If you look at who they deal with, there's also this other guy who is nothing like the first guy. He's nothing like the first guy. No job. Okay. Not very well dressed. You know, does not act like he's been properly educated. Okay. You know, I'm going to say just not necessarily the sharpest knife in the drawer. Okay. Still live at home with his mama. And black women will mess with both of those men. And a lot of guys act like they don't know that. Trust me. Folks argued about it for a good period of time. Folks was having an argument, you know what I'm saying, calling dudes Pookie and Ray Rays and calling dudes educated lanes, which is terrible in itself that they was even using those terms. But they was arguing about this for a good period of time on a regular basis, as if the woman ain't having sex with both kinds of men. Now, how do you have sex with both kinds of men? And I'm supposed to sit here and believe that black women have standards. Now, me, I never joined into those arguments because I know that black women mess with both kinds of men. Okay? Just is what it is. That's what they do. They'll mess with somebody you would call a bum, but then they also mess with somebody you wouldn't call a bum. Okay? They have a lot of sex. Just is what it is. Now, I'm talking about from a general standpoint. They have a lot of sex. They fought hard to be considered America's hoes. When I was a child, white women were America's hoes. It is what it is, man. Black women fought for that spot. And now they are considered America's hoes. That just wasn't the way it was when I was a kid. Just wasn't like that. You know? You used to, hey, let me go bust a white woman down before I get married. It was things like that that people would do. You know? Black women, back in the day, black women would swear for God. She would swear for God that she would never do oral sex. That's how it was back in the day, y'all. When I was a kid, that's how it was. Now, I'm not saying they ain't never do it, but they would at least claim they wasn't. Okay? They would at least make the claim they were not doing that type of stuff. Okay? That's what the claim was. All right? But now we got this thing going on where you have women talking about men don't qualify for them. You ain't gonna take care of nobody. See, and black men, you got to get your mind right. You can only qualify for somebody who's willing to take care of you. I ain't never worried about qualifying for no woman. Because what woman gonna take care of me? Let's keep it real, y'all. What woman gonna do that? Y'all see black women operate on a regular basis, y'all. Some of them get rich, some of them become celebrities. You don't see them taking care of men. Let's just be real about this, y'all. You do not see them taking care of men. You know, and people ask questions back in the day. Well, what would you do if such and such, if you met such and such? And what would you do if you met such and such? You know, use an example. Now, this is back in the day, like say example for Beyonce. Her name would come up. What if Beyonce met you and Beyonce said, I like you like that. And she like, you know, quit your job, come with me. If Beyonce say, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? I just need you to be my man. And I would always say in these example questions, I wouldn't go nowhere with her. That's real talk. She rich, she famous. Why would I bother doing something with her where I'm going to disrupt my own life? Now, if she want to deal with me while I'm in the position I'm in, that's cool. You know, people say, well, she rich, she famous. She ain't going to want you to be doing this or don't you to be doing. Bro, she rich. So why would I disrupt my life to fit into hers? Now, see, this is the thing. Beyonce been rich since she was a kid. Okay, maybe 18, 19 is, I don't remember exactly. She was young when Destiny Child came out and hit the scene. She was young. So she been rich for a long time. Okay. As a man, even when people talked about this stuff, you know, we young men, we throwing examples out there. Even as a man who understood that she's rich, she's famous, if me and her ran into each other, we started talking, I'm not disrupting my life for her. And people like, man, you crazy. No. I'm realistic. She's not going to take care of me. So why would I disrupt my life for her? It's one thing to say I'm trying to do something so I can hit it. Okay. That's one thing. Okay. But why would I disrupt my life over some chick, even if she is a celebrity? She ain't going to take care of me. Her dollars don't mean nothing to me. She don't have no value because she's rich and a celebrity. That don't mean nothing to me. At the end of the day, when you get real, men take care of women. Women do not take care of men. That's just reality. Now, if you struggle and look hard enough, is it possible that you can find some woman taking care of a man? I mean, it's possible. You look hard enough, maybe. I told y'all time and time again, if you give me enough time, I probably can find you a guy with no legs. I'll have to make an effort. But I can find you a guy with no legs. So we talking about exceptions to the rule. At the end of the day, why would I care about going off with somebody because she rich and fat? She ain't gonna take care of me. So, you know, my 22-year-old self, you think I'm gonna quit my job to date some chick because she's rich and she famous? That is stupid. Okay, it is what it is. Now, we do have we got a guest backstage I'm about to bring out. Looks like the name is I Love Black. I don't know if that's the homie or not. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Okay. Could be, but not necessarily. So I Love Black. I'm gonna bring it to hold on. I Love Black Tail. That's what this is. Oh, this gotta be a troll. Okay, well, you go ahead. I just brought you on stage. Go ahead and make a statement.
Okay. Salute to you, brother Roger.
Brother, I was thinking that was not you. But go ahead, my bad.
Finally got you. Salute to you, brother Roger. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the Habitual Line Steppers and shout out to the brothers in the wilderness. I hear you. I hear you on this, but I'm okay. There's things I agree with you on, and things I kind of disagree with you on. I'm 100% with you when we're talking about qualifying for women, right? That's kind of a new concept because back in the day, it was always women qualified for men, right? She came from a good family. She kept her virtue. You know, she's well mannered. She's polite. She has home ec skills, things like that, right? It was back in the day that women actually women had to qualify for men. So I'm with you on that. But when we talk about taking care of, I'm a believer that we take care of each other. And if a woman is looking for me to solely provide that, like for her, then I would advise people would not marry that woman. Because back in the day, people took care of each other. Obviously, there was different things, right? But they took care of each other. And if I'm with a woman that's just saying, she got to take care of me, and she's just going to be there, that's an anchor on my boat, right? And hey, I love Blacktail, but if Yellowtail going to not be an anchor on my boat, then we going with Yellowtail. And I'll land it right there.
Hey, understood. Now, I will say this. I would say I was speaking, I guess, more in a financial context, because, yeah, people should take care of each other. And I'm not going to say a housewife weren't taking care of her man. She just wasn't doing it from a financial standpoint. But when it comes to finances, Black women like to earn money, even if they have a lot of times, even if they have a husband, they like to earn money. And then they like to keep the money for themselves and do what they want to do with it. They don't necessarily share the money with the household. Okay, so women ain't going to work turning over their checks to their husband saying, "Here, make some great financial decisions, baby. I know you got it." That's not what's going on.
Then they got to go, because even still, right? I mean, that's why the census counts household income, meaning that we share. I'm at 70, she's at 30, we're at 100K.
And that is the way it should be. I definitely wouldn't argue against that. That is the way it should be. But what I'm saying is, from a realistic standpoint, even if the woman was at 70 and I'm the man and I'm at 30, she don't want to take care of me. She don't want to make sure we good. Even if I do got a job, I'm just make 30, she makes 70. She don't want to make sure I'm good, because women don't even like the ideal of taking care of a man. So at the end of the day, why would I ever concern myself with qualifying for some woman who ain't gonna look out for me? To me, that don't even make sense.
I'm 100% with you on that, right? Like I said that before. Like when it talks about like have to qualify for a woman, that's strange. That's strange because it's like I'm putting up I'm begging you to work for you. You know what I mean? I'm begging you to take my money. I'm begging you to stress me out. I'm begging you to allow me to fill up your car and wash your car on the weekends. Right.
Nah, I mean, that's real talk. That's real talk.
I'm begging you, allowing me to take you to the favorite places that you like that I can't stand, just for a piece of pie that might not even be clean.
I mean, that's a very real thing that I don't think a lot of men have yet to realize amongst Black men. Okay, when we go out our way to try to impress women, they were basically asking, "Can you be a liability in my life?" Now, I am not saying a woman can't be an asset in your life. I am not saying she couldn't be. It's just the chances of her becoming one ain't all that great. That's all it is. She could become one, but she probably won't.
If a Black woman is talking about, I need to rest in my femininity, she's a liability.
You know what? When I first heard that, I started cracking up. I ain't gonna even lie. The first time I heard somebody say that as if it made any level of sense, I just started busting up. Now, let me say real quick, shout out to Roastmaster One. Hey, appreciate you, my brother. He just dropped $20 on the Cash App. Says great content, bro. Hey, appreciate you big time, brother. Appreciate you big time. Real talk. And shout out to There I Said It. He said forced fatherhood as he dropped 5. Hey, appreciate you as well, big brother. Appreciate you as well. Okay. Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of forced fatherhood, yeah, a lot of times they come in with children already, and not only do they want you to quote unquote qualify to pay for them, they want you to qualify to pay for their children.
Exactly, and on top of that, you gotta beg them to adopt them, so that you be liable for child support. Hey, baby, please let me be liable for this child support. I got to be liable for this child support. I can't live without it.
Yeah, it's something that, you know, people. I mean, we really need to grab hold of this concept. Now, me, I ain't gonna let this go, y'all. I ain't gonna let it go because I know this is just a necessary thing. I know this is a real issue, and people really need to look at how they moving in life to say, you know, can I make a better move here or there? Ain't none of us got to be perfect, y'all, but that don't mean we ain't supposed to want to improve. And at the end of the day, does it make sense for me to beg a woman for me to say, can I spend my money on you? Exactly. That don't make sense.
Exactly.
Now we got a new person to join the panel. Demonetized Keisha has joined us, but I believe it's your first time being on the panel, so I'm gonna say welcome to the show.
Nah, it's all my hoes demonetized, man.
Oh, I know, but whatever you put as a title, that's what I go with. So I saw demonetized Keisha, but okay, it's all good. But you got the flow, my brother. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. Well, you know, I just listening to the topic, man, and I laugh because you gotta think dudes been groomed since they were little to kind of be subservient to women. Like when you have a little sister and you're about to go outside with your friends, what does your mom tell you? Take your sister with you. Then you look at it when she sees you with a toy or something. What does she want to do? She wants to come play with that toy. She takes it away from you. Your parents say, hey, just let her have it. So all of these things since you're a kid, it kind of plays into your psyche to where when you become an adult as a black man, you tend to do these things as if they're just normal to you to be in a subservient position. So I think it's part of grooming in our society, and also just the whole dynamic of that we just continue to allow black men to feel like, okay, well, this is just the way that it is, and it's sad.
Absolutely. And that's why I say we as black men, we really got to start coming to some real conclusions. Because, you know, if you want a better society, you got to participate in making the society better. If we change our thought processes, I'm not saying the women going to change because we change, but I know things will get better just on us changing our thought process up. Because
you have to control the narrative.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, we gotta demand better. We gotta demand better, right? When we're wifing up and stuff like that, we gotta start demanding and make it socially acceptable to say. Because I mean, black women, for all their angst, they're really good at marketing, right? They're really good making the average man believe that they got standards. They're all up here talking about 6 figures, this and that, and we outpace you. I mean, even though none of that is true. Like, we're more educated than you, we're outpacing you. Even though none of that is true, they are great. They are great at marketing and like talking about they're the most educated. I mean, they're great at it. They're great at it.
Yeah, you ain't lying. They definitely promote stuff. Well, alternative facts. I'll just call it.
Yeah, because you know, I mean, bro, who in their right mind really believe that a black woman is more educated than the Asian community? Come on.
Here's the kicker too. Now you're actually having a narrative be thrown out that they're out earning us.
Yeah, and they're
Which
not.
always is funny to me because I'm like, okay, so where is that narrative really being played into society? Are you saying it because the majority of the men you hanging around aren't doing anything financially, or is it just the fact that you've maybe been a high earner and now you thinking that that's just across the board with all the women that you hang with?
Well, I'm gonna say shout out to Roastmaster One. He says marketing equals lying. I'm gonna just go with that. I think black women just like to lie.
Yeah, they lie. That yeah, they love
You
lying.
know,
Straight.
Wow, felt like that though.
I think a lot of men just don't necessarily get it because we haven't been taught to think about it from that concept. We're always told stuff like a woman reserves her right to change her mind. My thing is, if you told me you was gonna meet me here and then you quote unquote change your mind and didn't meet me here, you lied. That's what that is.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
No,
understand if something
what she's
stopped
gonna
you
tell
from meeting
you, she
me.
said, I didn't lie, I changed my mind.
Yeah, that's a lie. But see, we've been socially conditioned to take things from women and somehow come to a conclusion that she didn't just lie. If we say we're gonna meet at the mall at 5 o'clock and you don't go to the mall at 5 o'clock, now it ain't nothing stop you. It ain't like you got hurt and went to the hospital. No, I just changed my mind. I just didn't feel like coming. That's a lie. I don't
No,
care what
Roger.
you tell me.
No,
You know,
Roger.
that's a lie.
They don't do that, Roger. They don't do that. You're at the mall. It's 5:45. You call them. Hey, are you on the way? Yeah, I just got in a taxi. Knowing goddamn well they're still getting dressed. That's how they be lying up in here.
Here's the
I
kicker.
just
Here's
got in a
here's the
taxi.
best one.
I
How
just got in
about
a taxi. Still putting on your jeans.
how about the one they tell where they always say that a man is intimidated by what they earn
Yeah,
and that he
fuck
could
that.
not handle me. And really, you look at it, I say, sister, if you were reverse it on the other foot, a man talking about what he has and what he's earned, does that make him a good candidate or a good mate to be with? That doesn't. That's not the factor of how you choose mates. Most of the time, it's something within their character that makes you want to be with them. So as a result, they don't look at it as you could just be a shitty person.
Well, the thing is, let's watch the cursing. We're gonna try to watch
I
the cursing, but
apologize.
no problem, no problem. But I'm gonna say, the thing is, she just want to say what she want to say because, again, y'all, I remember this when I was young. When people say, "Well, what if you meet this person who's a celebrity?" Beyonce was the one that used to come up back in the day. I think it was Beyonce a lot back in the day.
Oh, and Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah, definitely Oprah. And the thing I would always say, no, I'm not doing anything with them. I'm not gonna leave my job because I'm working at the time. I'm not gonna leave my job and go somewhere on a Tuesday to go kick with them for 2-3 weeks at a time, whatever it is. I'm not doing none of that. If she want to date me, she got to date me while I work over here. Okay. And, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't even had the greatest job at that particular time because this is when I was still trying to get into the rap game and all that type of stuff. But no, you got to come meet me where I'm at. Why? What? I don't care about your money if it's not going to be used to take care of me. How do I consider money that I have no access to? I consider it as non-existent.
Right.
Okay. Trump got a lot of money that I can't touch. So Trump money don't mean nothing to me.
It
just
means
don't.
absolutely nothing.
No, but I can't lie. I can't lie. If Oprah was like, be my pool boy, I'm doing it. I'm sorry.
Oprah can give me a job and I can give her sex too. But the only thing you can do is employ me because you ain't gonna give me no job. I ain't trying to hit. Yeah,
No,
and that's shaky.
bro. If I was Oprah's sex toy in a year, bro, I'd be a billionaire. I'm gonna use everything in my wheelhouse to climb up that ladder.
Yeah, as long as you're under the assumption that that money is accessible to you, then sure. But
No,
for
but
the
I
most
mean,
part, no.
it don't even have to be like that. Like, look, Gail, your girl is stingy with her stuff, and I'd be eating coochie like nobody's business.
Gail ain't
So,
gonna help.
I'm like, Gail,
Yeah, Gail's not gonna help you.
or whoever. I'll get the white girlfriend. I'm like, look, baby, I got that silver tongue. How far you cracking open that wallet, that purse?
Well, my thing is, if you're gonna get direct money from her, then see now I can understand something. Because my thing is I can't give up a source of income. I don't care how
No, but
crappy it
sometimes,
is,
but
unless
I
you're
mean,
gonna replace it.
my point is that even if Oprah is stingy, right? The sooner she had her house party with her white friends, right? I'm jumping ship. That's all I'm saying. She was just a window, right? Sometimes
I
you
guess,
gotta step back to jump forward.
He gonna
That's
be
oh,
all
like
I'm
Chappelle with the crown,
yeah.
man.
Oprah was just a
saying.
strategy for him. I get you, I get you. But Tunnel Runner has come up, y'all. So I want to get I want to get Tunnel Runner in here. But let me say, shout out to Dusty Hotep. He say Roger gonna be fighting with Stedman. Shout out to Stedman though. Shout out to Stedman. But Stedman, they never had to take care of Oprah, y'all. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
Stedman
that's
rich
another
too.
lie.
You
And that's
know,
another lie.
now, so her being rich didn't do anything for some man that wasn't rich. Stedman was rich too. He just ain't as rich as Oprah, but he was
Yeah.
already rich. So
He was,
my whole
yeah, he
thing
was
is, you ain't getting nothing when it comes to money. But who cares about a woman's money? I can't access it, so it don't matter. But let me let Tunnel Runner have a flow. You got it, my brother.
All right, my brother. Can you hear me? Hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say all women are delusional, but it seems to me the black women are the most delusional and stay the most delusional for the length of time. Because a lot of foreign women, they always delusional at 12 and 14. They start getting 16, 18. They start to realize what's really going on. But it seems like a lot of the sisters, they stay in delusion until they're like 62. Then they start to realize I might need a husband and I might need to, settle down. I might have to settle. But it's just the delusion is just very strong in these some of these sisters, and they will not, like I say, with the standards and all this other stuff. When they don't have standards and they're trying everything and doing everything, they're like boats without a sail. They're just out there lost, and they need some guidance. And only thing going to bring them some guidance is a husband or a man. And some of them are not willing to submit for that guidance to get somewhere.
Now I'm gonna throw it on out there. We have seen women now, thanks to so many cameras available and social media. There's been so many women being seen now. So now you not only get to see the women from your city, not only the women from your state, you could just turn on the computer and see women from all over the country. We done seen a bunch of women who swear they got a standard, get a good brother in front of him who quote unquote supposedly qualifies, and then she'll just be like, well, he's kind of too good. I don't want to be with him. He a little too squeaky clean for me. I don't know where his problem is that I can exploit. That's really what she's saying. I don't understand how I can exploit this man. I don't know what I have on him. He's a little too well put together. He dresses well. He got a decent job. He got his own place. He got his own car. He ain't got no baby mamas. I don't know how to manipulate this guy. So they swear they got standards, but now a guy like that shows up in front of them, is at least interested at that moment, but now I don't want to deal with him. I'm telling you, they got no standards at all. So, which is why I've come to the conclusion black women should never lower their standards. The first thing they knew was get a standard in the first place. But let me turn it over to Shark since Shark has come up. Shark, you got the flow, my brother.
Peace, guys. How y'all doing today? Happy
Hey, doing
Thursday.
great, brother.
All right.
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Um, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Tunnel Runner said. Black women have the ability to be delusional to their 62 because black men will tolerate anything,
Mm-hmm.
anything, as long as it has a big butt. It don't even need a smile. So why would I always say why would I get on my grind and do everything I need to do if I don't need to? I'm just wasting time. Black women they already know that. I think it's black men's fault that they act the way they act because we keep rewarding them. A black woman can't have a baby unless you give her the opportunity to.
And
Simple as that.
I'm gonna say well said, and that's something a lot of black men ain't even figured out yet. The reason black women are having trouble having babies because we just won't get them pregnant. But y'all, and I'm talking about the person it fits. Y'all don't even have enough gumption about yourself or enough belief in yourself to say, you know what, I am turning these hoes down, and I won't give these hoes no babies, and I actually do matter. We don't even accept that from ourselves. We just think, oh, it's some chick that didn't give you some. Because we live in this world where we've been taught the woman is in charge of you no matter what. So the fact that you are unwilling to get a woman pregnant, which the stats say that's just what it is at the end of the day. The general black man will not impregnate a black woman. But you can't accept that. You have to believe that no, it's just some women won't give you none. The women is having sex with the two guys who are polar opposites to each other. They're having sex with both of them. There is no my type when it comes to women.
And the kicker to black women's validation,
That
we
is
could
true.
take the sex off, we could take the baby off, but their validation is you actually having sex with them. That is why we have fat girls thinking that they're tens now. That is why we have
That's
butt
very
ugly
true.
females thinking that they tens. That is why Tarana Burke could come on there talking about she was sexually molested.
And Gabrielle Sidibe.
And Gab,
Wait
like
a
black
minute, did
men have
Gabrielle
no
say
black
that?
men. It's literally black men don't have no standards.
Real quick, did Gabrielle say, are y'all just using her as a joke, or did she
No, no,
ever
no, no.
say?
Like no, no. As far as like men dealing with her and getting her pregnant. Well, white boy got her pregnant, so I think.
Okay, no, but no, because when you said Toronto, well, when he said Toronto Burke, see, she actually made a claim that she was
Oh
sexually
no, no,
assaulted.
no, no, no. I was just saying how niggas would date
No,
Gabrielle
Gabrielle
Sidibe.
City.
no, I get you, I get. That's why I just wanted to be clear. Was that
Oh
just
no,
a
no, no,
joke,
no.
or
She
did she
never.
say something?
No,
You
no, no,
know?
Hey,
no.
but Roger, we got Leslie Jones, the girl from Saturday Night Live. You know that girl from Saturday Night Live? She's
Yeah, I know
actually talking
exactly what you're
about
talking about, brother.
her
But
her
ugly.
standards and what men ain't doing and what these men. But she's having some dates. I don't, she's getting some dates and she's telling these they not performing in bed and they ain't doing this and
Now,
they ain't that.
I covered that story back
And
in
she
the day.
literally looked like a dog walking
Hey,
backwards.
hey, I'm trying to stop y'all. What I do not want to do
My bad, my bad.
is go in
Yeah, let's
on
not
some
go down the
woman
rabbit hole.
Yeah, okay,
who no, no,
We,
no. The thing is, I don't want to go in on women who are beauty challenged. I'll just say that. Okay? Because this is the thing. A woman's beauty is like a man's ability to work. It matters a great deal to them. And I never ever want to just be talking down on women just because they didn't necessarily win at the gene pool. You know what I'm saying? So talking about her beauty is kind of like kicking her while she's down. That's how I kind of see it.
okay,
It's like kicking her while she's down. No, I
okay.
understand Leslie
But what I
having problems. Well, I'm saying it like this: Leslie having issues with men to me is understandable. Okay, it's the ones that are far more attractive that's having issues that create the problem. Leslie, I get it. There's nothing for me to argue about. Uh,
all right,
Gabrielle
Roger.
Sidibe trying to get with black men. I get it. I understand why that's a challenge. Okay, but there's a bunch of women who don't have obvious issues that claim they have
No, no,
issues.
no, no. What I'm saying,
Roger, hold
what I'm
on,
saying. No, hold on
hold
one
on.
second. One second.
Gabrielle
What I'm
Cinnabon
saying.
ain't never
What
complained
I'm
about
saying
not
is
getting
that
access to
Gabrielle.
black men.
What I'm saying is Gabrielle Sidibe does have access to black men. She
Thank
doesn't
you.
have a problem. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying she has challenges. I'm saying she doesn't.
And Leslie Jones ain't saying she had problems either getting them
Right.
in. She's saying that cats can't keep up their penis, etc. How is this even possible for her to have that conversation if it's not the fact that black men don't have standards?
All
No,
right, but let's go to the
I
other
get what I
side.
totally get what you're saying on that shark. My bad. Go ahead, turn around.
Claudia Jordan just had a video. She's a seemingly attractive woman at 51 years old, finally realizing that uh, she need a
She's a
man. She needs some help. She's tired of being out here. on the streets. She said she's tired of being out here on the streets, being on the pole. She said that she wants to be somebody help her take care of her Range Rover and help pay for her internet. She said she's looking for a sheik without the other stuff going on. But she said she needs somebody now. But finally she realized talking to her married friends that she ain't winning out here.
Oh, she got it now. She 51. You just said she 51. She got it. She don't need no help.
But she wants some help. She wants some help. She said she got this stuff, but now she really wants to help. After she said her standards were so high and she didn't want to do this and they had to go do this. Now she's actually her. You can see that she's breaking down. Some of these standards that she so-called said she had because she's realizing it ain't getting easier. It's getting worse.
Hey, brother, I get what you're saying, and all I'm gonna say is 51 years old. All I can say is you got it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what help. That's a vet, man. That the 51 unmarried woman is the woman the young guy's supposed to talk to get their stroke game up. That's what's supposed to be happening there. That's what you did with women that old. Well, at least back in my day, that's what those women were for. You ain't never been married. Well, I'm a young cat. I'm 18, 19, 20. Let me dig you out real quick. And that's what you for. You the vet that the youngster's supposed to learn from.
That's still giving her validation.
I'm not saying anything about the validation. I'm saying, realistically speaking, that's her place now. The young guys who need to learn how to get down in the bedroom, they supposed to experiment with her.
No,
So when they meet their 22-year-old woman that they're going to try to be with, they know what they're doing.
No, I definitely understand what you're saying, but the fact that an 18-year-old man would have sex with her is giving her validation enough to get up on there and say she need a man. If nobody's supposed to touch it to the point where she's an old maid. Remember that old maid? That's what they are.
But Shark, she don't look like no old maid.
Yes, she do. She literally
Claudia
does.
Jordan?
See, that's black men standards is being low again. Yes, she does. And you gotta remember, when you see Claudia Jordan, you see Claudia Jordan on TV. You do know before she get on that camera, it's a whole staff of people making her look good enough for you to argue with me right now.
Yeah, hair extensions, everything. Because I ain't seen her in real life. Only seen her on TV. But even at 51 years old, she looked, like an older, what is it, girl? Sierra?
Yeah, so imagine meeting her in the grocery store.
Yeah, she probably, yeah. But they call what we call all this makeup and hair extensions. That's called witchcraft. Yeah,
Well,
that's what it's
I'm gonna say
called.
this.
That's what it is.
I'm gonna say this. When is the last time a guy worried about what a 51-year-old look like? I'm just saying that. I'm just throwing it out because I don't remember ever talking with my friends about what some 51-year-old look like. Okay. And I'm just keeping it real. Now, shout out to Black Uru Strikes. I'm gonna try to say it the way he said. He said Claudia is a waste of light-skinnedness. A light-skinned pretty, I should say. Okay. Shout out to Black Uru. But see, my thing is this. If we're gonna talk about the standards, okay, we're gonna talk about the standards. I can't tell a woman to lower a standard when she ain't got none in the first place. Because my thing is, this is a serious reality when it comes to Black women. And a lot of men, especially the younger ones, they think this is a real thing. Like they need to change up what they're doing over Black women having standards. They ain't got none. You can't spot. Is there a Black woman with standards somewhere? Sure. The same way I can find you a guy with no legs. He out there somewhere. I don't know him. I don't know where he at. But give me 48 hours, I probably could come up with one. You give me 40. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to where all the old people at. I'm going to the hospital where people got injured and things like that. And if I looking enough of them, I'm pretty sure I can find a guy with no legs. He out there somewhere. But that's how it is looking for a Black woman with quote unquote standards. And my thing is this, y'all. Can you have a standard if you're not paying? And I'm asking a very real question, y'all. Can you have a standard if you're not paying? Do you even have the ability to have a standard if you're not gonna pay?
Well, to a certain extent, you can, because you know you have a standard of what you're gonna work for, like what job you're gonna take. You ain't paying the job.
Yeah, but the job has a standard of what employee they're going to accept. So you don't really have a standard. You're going to take what you can get. Because think about it, y'all. There's a lot of quote unquote qualified people working in some position that they're quote unquote overqualified for. The person ain't truly got the standard. It's the company that can hire you that has the standard. That's why so many people working in a field they didn't study for.
Well, then to that extent, you can say black women do have standards, but that's why you see a lot of black women single, no kid with kids, or single and old, like Vivica Foxes and Claudia Jordans, because they do have standards. It's just their standards ain't working for them, and they have so many. It's like having a whole bunch of pairs of shoes. You're sitting in the house forever thinking about which ones you're gonna wear, and that's the problem. Black men are the shoes. They got so many banging their door down. No one is just crazy for them. But
And,
it's us. We the problem. They shouldn't have that many shoes in their closet.
What?
and
But
Roger, just one more
go
more
ahead.
thing, and then I'll let you go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, when they have it in reverse order. When they should have the highest standards is when they are the virgins, when they are 16, 17,
Mm-hmm.
18. When that's when they should have some standards.
Yeah,
But it seems like they don't have any standards as a young when they're most valuable for men. They don't have standards then. And then when they have 5 or 6 kids and 4 different husbands, then they want to tell somebody that they want certain things. When they should be doing that the first time they go out there, the first 1 or 2 times, they should have the highest standards. If they are going to have standards, that's when they are the most valuable, and they doing it in reverse.
Well,
I agree with that.
I'm gonna say this: they just ain't got no standards. Because, like, even when we mention somebody like Vivica Fox, Vivica can tell us whatever she want to tell us. Vivica had a day. I remember when Vivica was fine. She was one of the women that people talked about on a regular. But I remember that. I'm old enough to remember that. Vivica had a chance. She just messed it up. Vivica claiming she has standards now is Vivica trying to justify why nobody married her. That's all that
Exactly.
is. You can claim you have standards because nobody will deal with you. She ain't got no standard. Her standards would have been in the selection she used earlier. And truth be told, she probably had a last ditch chance with 50 Cent. Now, real talk, if I look at 50 Cent and I look at Vivica, where am I supposed to believe the problem really was? I'm just saying. And she got 50 early in his career. Maybe he would have dealt with her for real, because he was younger and he was just getting into stardom and all that. If my memory's correct, she was with dude on the first album, not the second or third, the first album. And you blew that.
Yeah,
Vivica
and
ain't
she
got
said,
no standards.
yeah, she knows she blew it, and she said so. So that's the only come to Jesus part that because she said she messed up, and 50 Ton said she messed up. So, like you said, our standards were nowhere, and then she just realized this 15 years later, 20 years later,
Well,
that
see, my thing
she
is,
should have did something.
well, I'm saying there's a difference between having standards and trying to justify your results. Black women don't have standards. What they are doing now is trying to justify their results. They're trying to say, well, I'm 50 and don't have no husband, and this is my justification of me being a loser.
Because I gotta
Now,
go find.
if y'all are new here, and I know y'all don't know, but once you're 30 years old, there's no question about it no more. If you've never been married and you're 30 years old, you just a flat out loser. We ain't even gonna debate it anymore. You 30 and don't have a husband as a woman, you're just a loser. It's nothing to debate. So women don't have they have justifications on why they're a loser. That's a totally different thing. Because a standard mean I can still draw people in. If you talking about I got a standard and you ain't got no draw, you talking crazy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If I
straight
want to go to
crazy.
if I want to go to the amusement park can say it's $50 to get in. That's the standard. Now, when you got a park that nobody wants to go to, It's your standard ain't no $50 getting. You should be paying one of us to come and say we had some fun. So for advertising purposes, that's not a standard. You lost. You're about to go out of business. It's about to be over with completely. You can't tell, well, I need $50. If I offer you 20, it's time for you to accept it. You're struggling at this particular point. That's why companies lower prices from time to time, because they can no longer make the sales if they ever made them in the first place. So I'm just saying, it's a difference between having a standard and a justification of why I'm a loser. But Kevin 3905 just came up, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him the mic. You got it, my brother. How you doing?
What's up, brothers? Mic check. Can y'all hear me clearly?
We hear you fine, brother. We hear you fine.
Man, I'm gonna make this short and sweet, and I'm gonna let y'all have it, man. These women that are roaming the earth uncovered, they're not under the covering of their fathers, and they haven't moved on from the covering of their fathers to the covering of a husband. Bro, they're just a bunch of hoes, bro. These women are they don't have standards. Vivica Fox is a very good example of that with 50 Cent. Out of all the men she could have got back then when she was fine, she could have got a CEO, she could have got a lawyer, she could have got anything she want. She got the newest thug on the market. That's what she did. That's what they all doing. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they all doing. Bro, these uncovered women are destroying themselves. Women don't truly mature into the woman she's supposed to be until she submits to the authority of a husband.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm
That's
gonna
it.
say real quick, y'all. If you happen to be here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And everybody, if you ain't already did it, hit that like button. Now we do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time, regardless of where you happen to live. You might be out there in Dubai listening, but we do this 9 a.m. Chicago time. Okay, Chicago time. All right. If you don't know it, you got the internet. Look it up. It'll tell you. The internet will tell you. Okay. Now, my thing is this. Yeah, there is a lot of. I'm trying to cover up the fact that I'm a failure. I'm trying to cover up the fact that I'm a loser. I'm trying to cover up the fact that my plans didn't work out whatsoever. And the thing is, this is being done so black men will make an adjustment to correct their situations. Because I told y'all there's four main points that I did research on to come up with the fact that where black men were having avoidance issues. Okay, that was being too fat, bad attitude, too many kids, and too much debt. So you got older black women who are claiming that they have standards, trying to give you ridiculous reasons why they are just losers at the end of the day. So you will come in and help them to pay off their stuff. Now, you mentioned Claudia Jordan. Well, Claudia Jordan is like a celebrity. So she probably got money and stuff like that. She don't count. But another woman in her position, another 51-year-old black woman who is not rich, who is not a celebrity, what she want from me? Let's keep it real. She's 51 years old. What would she want from any regular dude? Now, I'm gonna say I'm a regular dude. What would she want from me? Why would she be in a relationship with me now? She ain't submitted to no man in all this time. Why would she want to be with me now and she's 51? She want me to come in there and pay bills. She want me to pay off her college debt. She want me to pay off her consumer debt. Maybe she wants me to finish paying her mortgage off. But she don't want me for me.
Right.
I'm not saying it
It's
ain't
funny that you said
possible,
that.
but it's very
It's funny.
unlikely.
It's funny that you said that because that's what she said. She wanted somebody to pay off her car note, and she wanted somebody to pay her internet bill and insurance. That's what she said she wanted. She didn't say she wanted any other. She said she wanted the guy to pay off her. I think she got a Range Rover and other car and pay off some other bills. That's what she's looking for.
I mean that's funny, but I do want to say this, y'all. Y'all have to make a realization that celebrities barely even exist. They're less than 1% of people. Now we use celebrities only because they're familiar to people. People can see a person or whatever. But if a normal 51-year-old black woman, I run into her, we have a conversation, whatever the case is, maybe she starts being nice to me at that particular time because maybe she does want a man right now. What does she want from me? She's 51. Do y'all really believe the chances are she actually likes me? I'm not saying I'm not a likable person. What I'm saying is her mind gonna be filled with so much other stuff. Who I am don't actually matter. She's 51. She's not trying to quote unquote love me. She's trying to fix her situation. That's what it is. She wants to, and I know that may be hard for men to accept. Okay. Now there are some women out there who could possibly be 51 and maybe their husband died and maybe she's a widow. I ain't talking about that. That's totally understandable. She's just looking for a new relationship because she's 51. She still got a lot more years left, hopefully, in her life, and she wants a companion. That's cool. But a 51-year-old woman who ain't never been married, y'all telling me she actually liked me? Now, again, I ain't saying I ain't a great person, but how can she see how great I am when she got all these different things going on in her life already? She can't even see me. Now, that may be hard for men to take because, again, men have egos. And we really want to believe that she going to see us at a higher position or something like that. That's what we want as men. I'm saying I know that woman can't even see me. Her life is already too cluttered. She don't even know who I am. She don't even know how to make her life better. She's just looking at the fact that she owe X amount of money and she's trying to see if I'm gonna help her pay it down. She don't even get to know me as a person. She's trying to get to know me as a bill payer. And that's just the reality of it.
And
Yeah.
Roger, one thing that she said was that one of the reasons is she is tired. She said she's tired. She's tired. That's why she's saying she needs this because the younger girl is trying to tell her why, and she said, I'm tired.
And I believe it. There's a lot of women who get to what I call the UOF stage. That's 36 years old, the unwanted old feminists. They say the same thing. They tired. They see going out and working at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Because some of them don't get their first job to after college. Because some you even got some college women. They might get their first real job to after college. They work for a while, but once they got a nice decade in, or maybe a decade and a half in, feelings start to change about being in the workforce. See, when they're young and energetic, they can do it all. It's no big deal. But now that you've been working for 10 years, now you don't feel quite the same way. Now it's starting to be aggravating. Now I want a man to come take some of this load up off me. When you honestly get into a position where you got to get up and go to work every day, it's a whole lot different than when you was just in school, even when you was in college, because you don't necessarily have to go to this class. I'll get the notes from somebody else later. When you got to get up and take your behind to work every day, starts a little different. So they do get tired. They do want to relax. And I totally get that. But the thing is, how you gonna do that with a black man when you went to school to make sure you didn't have to listen to no black men in the first place?
Mm. Mm.
Because what other reason do black women actually go to college? They ain't going to change the world. We see that. They're not going so they can be in position to pay for people. They're not doing that. So why they going to college except for doing something to avoid listening to a black man? They're not going to college to find a husband. What they going for? Now, I'm not saying all black women go to college because they are the minority. But I'm just saying, even when you throw the college women in there, you see they're just trying to avoid the leadership of black men too. Just like the ones that didn't go to college. It's just they was more about it than the ones who didn't go to college. The ones who didn't go to college, they kind of frill it in the wind a little bit more. The ones who went to college made a concerted effort to not listen to a black man. So that's why I say you 36, you just an unwanted old feminist at that point. What am I going to do for you to make you change who you are as a man? I can't change you. You yourself. And this is why women try to get men caught up with their egos. because women know what they're doing. They want us to argue about them to say, hey, I'm gonna get the honor of going to work and using my money on her. I'm gonna get the honor of getting her out of debt. I'm gonna get the honor of making sure she's straight. And some men have done this, and they have literally came into a woman's life. They paid off her debt, and all of a sudden, now that woman needs to do something else. Okay, she needs to be with somebody else. They've gotten women even pay for their school debt, helped her graduate. You know, we got married 5 years ago. My wife always talked about she wanted to get her degree. You know, she been working on her degree for the last 4 years. She finally out of school, and I finally got the debt paid off. And then what she want to do? Well, now I need a divorce. Now, is the guy a good man if he came in there, did what a husband's supposed to do? He held his wife down, told her, hey, baby, don't even worry about doing nothing else. Just go to school. You say you want to be a lawyer. Go on, go to school. You say you want to be this. You say you want to be that. Go on, go to school. I got it. You know, I'm making enough money. I'll take care of stuff. Now, as soon as she gets situated good in her next career, now she want a divorce. And now, can we say the man is no good? And see, this is kind of what I mean. Well, this is part of what I mean by she cannot see me. I can come into her life, be a good man, help her do all these different things to help her transition to the next thing that's going on in her life. She cannot see me. She just see bills getting paid. She just see that she can go to school without having to worry about having a job. It don't make no difference how good I am. It don't make no difference that I'm there for her. It don't make no difference that I'm giving her emotional support. She can't see none of that. All she can see is I'm trying to get to the next thing. And once you get her there, she want to go. Y'all know how many stories? Man, I can't tell you how many stories I done seen about how women that had a man pay for a bunch of stuff, and as soon as she makes some big move for herself, she won't out the relationship. Whether they married or not, she won't out. One woman bought a building. She was with this dude, if my memory is correct, might have been 5-6 years she was with this dude. She saved some money up and bought a building. But once she bought that building, while he was doing all that work, then now she want to break up. Now, is that a bad man for making sure his woman is taken care of so well that she can save her money up to buy a building? That don't sound like a bad brother to me. No, it's just I don't need him anymore, so I can't see him now. That's it. But no, really, she couldn't see him in the first place. I don't need him anymore, so I just need to get away from him now. That's the difference. Because she been really couldn't see you. So, and I know this is a hard thing for men to get. Being a good man don't mean nothing to women. Just like being a bad man don't mean nothing to women. They don't care. They don't care. So when you pick one, you got to figure out what she really is. But the truth be told, if she has standards, wouldn't it be a very common thing that if black women met a good man, that they stay with him if they had standards? And y'all think about it. The average black woman is not married. So when the average black woman comes across the average good brother, if she has standards, wouldn't she secure a relationship with him? Wouldn't she be doing the best she can to make sure that man never drops her? And that is not what you see happening. Now, that's not Roger's opinion. Those are facts on the table. Roger ain't got nothing to do with the fact that all these women ain't married. I can't marry but one of them. You know? Maybe if I come across a woman who really has some standards, maybe I would be. Now, I met some decent women, but I did come to the conclusion they not where I needed them to be to marry them. It's just that simple at the end of the day. Why? Because marriage means I got to take care of them. Do I really want to sign up for this? And so far the answer's been no. Just is what it is. Now that ain't because I wasn't looking. I looked multiple times. Still looking to a certain degree. Just ain't finding. If women had standards, maybe we wouldn't have all this trouble. You know, as I did my research, I found that men want three main things: loyalty, good character, good company. That's what men really want. They'll say it in a bunch of different ways, but that's what men really want. Black women don't want to give that, and then they want to ask you for a whole bunch of stuff, even though they ain't gonna give you what you want. And people acting like they can't understand why the two people ain't connected. It's not because he talked to her first or she talked to him first. They can't connect because she ain't trying to be loyal to him, and she asking for a bunch of stuff to make up for what some other dude didn't give. That's how women's mind works. Well, the other dude I was with didn't give me this, so now I want you to get. I want you to give me what you should give me, and then I want you to give me what the last man should give me too. And unfortunately, a lot of black women is trying to get you to make up for what their father didn't give, because they ain't had no daddy growing up. They looking on TV, they see some woman with this, with that. They looking on the internet, people out here lying about their lifestyle, or you're seeing the highlights of people's lifestyle. So now they want you to catch them up. Okay, now they want you to catch them up. Is that your job? Is that your responsibility? And the truth is, no, that's not your job. It is not your responsibility. But then we want, as men, we put these situations up to try to logically justify what's going on. Well, you know, the reason you ain't got this woman to do this is because you didn't do that. Bro, you living in the twilight zone. Every man who think a woman can control, I mean, every man who thinks a man can control what a woman's gonna do is living in the twilight zone. Women do what they want. The type of man you are is not gonna determine what she's gonna be. She with you because she like you for the moment, or she with you because truly you give her stuff she wants to get out of you for the moment. And that's all it is. Because they will divorce you even if you went to the trouble to get married. And if you didn't go to the trouble to get married, they will leave you at the drop of a dime. Once she has gotten what she wanted out the deal, she's gone. And that's what, and that's why I'm going to say a lot of men from a standing position, we got to start actually seeing if the woman wants us. Now I can pat myself on the back and say, well, I'm this and I'm all that. And since Tunnel Runner brought up the example, I meet a 51-year-old woman who ain't never been married. Man, she don't like me. And I get that. I'm not saying I'm nothing to like. I just get the fact that she don't like me. Her life is far too cluttered with all kinds of other stuff where she don't like me. Now, if you want to see if a woman likes you, let her fix her life herself. Then see if she likes you. Man, you know what? You're a nice looking lady. If you get your life under control, I would date you. See, the woman who fixes her own life so she can date, that's the woman that like. Now, if I come in to fix her life, she don't like me because she can't see me. She's not single because her standards were too high. She's single because she didn't qualify for nobody to marry her. And that's how men need to start looking at the world. That's why I'm saying we're the ones going out into the street and not looking both ways, expecting not to get hit by a car. Why would a 51-year-old woman be single, period? If you remove widows out the situation, why is a 51-year-old woman single, period? And we not trained to look at that as men. We don't talk about this stuff. Fathers don't necessarily say this to their sons because a lot of us, we're raised by women in the first place. But I told y'all, and I'm going to say it again, the first time I heard about 40-year-old women having problems dating, I laughed because I couldn't understand why 40-year-olds would be dating. It didn't even register me as something sensible. The first time I heard about 40-year-old women having trouble in the date market, My thing is, you're 40. You're supposed to have trouble in the dating market. You should have been married a couple decades ago, probably, or at least a decade and a half. How are you 40 and unmarried? Who looking for 40-year-old wives? Who grew up? As men, y'all, when we was boys growing up, who wanted to marry a 40-year-old woman? None of us said that when we was kids. We talked to each other when we was kids. Now, we might have said we'd have sex with some woman who was 40 and above, but what young man thought about marrying a 40-year-old woman? This is unheard of stuff. Now maybe he was with somebody who had some special needs and he wanted to marry a 40-year-old woman. But what dude wanted to marry some 40-year-old? I don't remember not one friend through my entire childhood to say he wanted to marry some 40-year-old woman. That's why the first time I heard about 40-year-old women having trouble dating, all I could do was laugh because it just didn't even make sense. The conversation of a 40-year-old woman having trouble, the concept of the conversation don't even make sense to me. If you're 40 years old, of course you're going to have trouble. You should have been married probably a good 15 years ago. You're 40. How you get to your 25th birthday and you wasn't? Because truth be told, a woman should be married around 22 years old or younger. What are you going to do with your time in the world after your 18th birthday that's going to help you be a better wife to somebody? Now, I know a lot of people say, well, nah, it's too young to be thinking about marriage at 18 years old. What are you going to do other than ruin your own value? If you actually held on to your virginity by 18, what you going to do when you get out here in the streets? You got more freedom. You going to a party, you're doing stuff that young people do. Somebody going to crack eventually. Maybe you got through high school and the woman held on to her virginity. Okay, somebody going to crack eventually. So if this was my daughter, my thing is I need to get her married off. Point blank, period. Because I know men going to not see her the same way once she loses her virginity. Now, I would encourage my daughter to hold on to her virginity until she got married, but I know I can't control her. That's just what it is. I know I can't control her. So if she come home and say, well, Daddy, I lost my virginity. Okay, now I got to do, I can't even set you up with certain people no more because you don't even qualify no more. Why? She's not taking care of a dude. The dude is going to take care of her. So she got to qualify for him, not the other way around. It is sad that black men would try to hurt themselves to qualify for some woman who should be trying to qualify for him. When you go to a business and you want to buy something, they tell you how much it is. That is the qualifier to get this item. Okay? That's the qualifier to get this item. You want these eggs is $10. Well, $10 is your qualifier to get the eggs. You either got $10 or you don't. You want to buy this car. Hey, this car costs 30 grand. You either gonna come up with the 30 or you gonna get out. It's that simple at the end of the day. If you can't come up with the 30, you got to roll. Now, I know somebody might say, well, you can just put a 500 down. No. In that scenario, the bank put up the money for you. So you did come up with the money. You just came up with the money through a bank. But they not trying to hear it, man. The car 30,000. You either got the 30,000 or you don't. That's real world stuff. Now, the person at the car dealer selling you the car, he's not trying to sell you no car and take care of the car after you leave the lot. They'll put gas in the car while you're there. See, it'll be some gas in the car. You'll go for a test drive, all that good stuff. But once you take ownership of that car, they ain't putting no gas in it. Ain't no more oil changes. They not calling you to check on the car. because one takes care of the other. See, when you buy a car, and we compare cars and women on a regular basis. Let's be realistic about this. See, when you buy a car, you make sure you get an oil change. You make sure there's gas in the car. You make sure it gets new tires. You do all that stuff. You make sure the car is in good shape so you can ride it around when you want to. Well, that's what happened with women too. You make sure they good to go. You make sure they got nice clothes. You make sure they got makeup. You make sure they got a warm place to sleep. You do all this. They're not going to do it for you. So why are you trying to qualify for them? What happened to I am what I am? And if you good enough, you can get me. You know, that's why men work. That's why men do things. Okay. We become somebody. Okay. The women are supposed to impress us and supposed to make me feel comfortable spending my money on her. And I get it, y'all. See, if y'all have a discussion with people about this type of stuff, you will get all type of pushback. But when it comes down to it, the one thing women have no real argument about is when I start talking to them about me feeling comfortable spending my money on them. How are you going to make me feel comfortable spending my money on you? Now, this is where a lot of men should start from. We don't. Okay? You worried about what her standard is. I'm gonna worry about what your standard when you paying. That's what I'm gonna worry about. This is not a joke, y'all. If she's taking me on a date, I'll worry about her standard. You know, women don't generally take out men. What you worry about her standard for? She better be thankful I'm taking her anywhere. That's number one. Because a woman who ain't thankful I'm taking her anywhere don't get to go nowhere. This is real world stuff, y'all. All of us as men, we got some friend. See, men, we will pay for each other, especially when we young. We'll pay for each other. You know, sometimes he got it, sometimes I don't got it. Sometimes I got it, sometimes he don't got it. You going to get something to eat, but you ain't got no money. You tell your homie, okay? You tell your homie, man, yeah, bro, I ain't got no bread. I'm busted. You know what I'm saying? So your homie say, well, hey, we going to Burger King then. Are you finna argue with your friend who just told you he finna pay for you to eat at Burger King? Think about that, y'all. Are you going to argue with your buddy who just told you? Now you just told him you busted. You ain't got it. He just said, well, you know what? I got some bread. I'm gonna get us something to eat at Burger King. Are you finna argue with him? Of course not. And I'm pretty sure every man listening to me at this point did not argue with the guy who said, yeah, I'm gonna take us to get something to eat. Y'all just went where he said and you picked something off the menu. That's it. Now you may not got the same thing he got, but you just picked something off the menu. When you go out with a woman, you take her where you want to go. You don't concern yourself with her standard. Now, I told y'all before. See, I'm the type of brother, I will take you to an IHOP on the first date. Why? Because I don't care nothing about her standard. I'm not even asking where she want to go. I'm paying for it. Why would I ask her where she wants to go when I'm about to pay? This ain't my woman. Now, see, when you get in there good enough and you become my woman, now I can start considering some of the things that you want because you mine at that point. But if you're not my woman, why would I care anything about what you want? Why would I try to hit your quote unquote standard? I don't have no reason to. It's like trying to be qualified for a job that you're not applying for. Maybe you want to work corporate at McDonald's. Okay. So what would you do? You would try to figure out what qualifications do I need so I can work corporate at McDonald's. You're not going to be trying to figure out how to qualify for the car wash down the street. Okay. The one-stop car wash. They got one location. They're not a major corporation. They're just a regular old car wash. You're not trying to figure out how to work these towels. Okay. You're not trying to figure out what smells you should use to make this car, the cars smell good when they come through. You're not doing that because you want to work at the corporate office at McDonald's. It's a whole different agenda at that particular point. Now, black men swear black women have agendas because I see folks arguing about it. This ain't no theory. I see men talking, well, these women want to have value met. Bruh, of course they would take one. Okay? Who not going to take something good if it just happened to fall in their lap? No, they will take one. Do they require one? Absolutely not. All you need for black women is nothing. That's all you need. Okay? That's all you need. Nothing. And you had that since birth. Okay? You don't need no car. If you needed a car to get a sister, then how come black women complain about men riding around in their cars? You don't need no job. If you needed a job, how come women complain that black men ain't got no job and they broke? Does that make sense? You know, shout out to my daddy. He said the truth got to make sense at the beginning, middle, and the end. Okay? That's what my daddy say. My daddy ain't been wrong yet. Okay? He ain't been wrong yet. All right? You know, you don't need nothing. Now, truth be told, it's good for you to have stuff for yourself. You don't get a car because you need a car to get a chick. You get a car because you want to drive around yourself. That's why you get the car. You don't need a place to live for black women. How many times do they complain about some dude that was living in their house, their apartment, okay, whatever? He wasn't doing nothing. He wouldn't do nothing all day. He'll be at the house playing video games. I'll come home and he didn't do nothing. How was he at your house all day and didn't do nothing? He was the quote unquote Madden King. He did nothing. Okay, how did he do that if he need a house? Okay, if he need his own apartment, how did he stay at your apartment doing nothing? See, they be telling on themselves, but a lot of times we just ain't listening, y'all. Okay, they be telling us what it is. We don't be listening. See, when women complain that a dude been at the house all day long and ain't did nothing, all I hear is the dude don't need anything. He can literally be homeless and he can get black women. That's what I heard. Okay. That's what I heard. Now I don't know what you heard, but that's what I heard. He at the house, he doing nothing all day. He just on them video games, and I'm tired of him. He do this all the time, blah blah this, blah blah. I just heard the man don't need no job. That's what I heard. He don't need no job. He don't need no place to live. He good. Okay? That's what I heard. And people swear they got, well, you know, these sisters got standards. Y'all, I didn't cover a story of a judge. A judge got caught up, had to go to jail herself. Why? Because she having sex with gangsters and whatnot. Her man ended up getting into some trouble. She doing stuff she ain't got no business as a judge, but she's using her power to make things easier for her man. She's a judge. Okay? Her man is just a nigga on the streets. A guy with no actual job. Okay? He involved in criminal activity. She used her position to give favor to her man. Now she a judge. This guy ain't got no job, and she's a judge. Yet we hear men argue on a regular basis about what you got to have. Okay? Shout out to Prodigy. See, you can do this as a black man. You can go to her crib and make sure you leave out with something. You can do that at her crib because you ain't got to have one. Okay? You don't have to do nothing. Y'all, I'm going to keep it all the way funky, as Black Guru would say. You got women who with men who end up with some type of child support issue. So some woman done came at her. Some woman done came at him after years and okay, well, I want to get some child support off this dude. He ain't got nothing. There are women paying child support to other women on behalf of their man. Okay? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? There are women paying child support to other women on behalf of their man. If a woman's paying child support to another woman on behalf of her man, what standard would I need to have in order to get said woman? Okay? Shout out to you, Purpose. Shout out to you, brother. But keeping it real, though. Keeping it real, Purpose Time. Okay, you got brothers out here that don't do nothing all day long. Okay? Some woman, she listens to other women in her family, her kids 7, 8 years old. Now she said, well, I'm going to go after him for child support. And he got a woman paying the child support on his behalf. Now, you telling me I got to meet some kind of standard to get a woman who will do all that? I live with her. Well, he lives with her. Okay? He got kids that he ain't got to take care of. She'll handle that. Okay? He won't do anything. Okay? And you telling me that I have to achieve some level of standard to get her? Come on now. Come on, man. Y'all, some stuff just don't add up. Okay? That stuff don't add up. Okay? Heck, truth be told, with black women, you don't even got to be a straight man. They can be straight. Do you even have to be a straight man? Let's put that out there, y'all. Let's put that out there. It's black women out here having sex with men who live an alternative lifestyle, which they act like is a terrible thing, but they got babies by those men. Okay? They got babies by those men. You ain't even got to be straight for a straight black woman. Think about that. You ain't even got to be straight for a straight black, and I'm saying straight black woman just so nobody gets it confused. You ain't even got to be straight for a straight black woman. Okay? So women can talk about standards. They can say a lot of stuff about standards. They can give me speeches about standards. Do they got any? So when I say black women should never lower their standards, I'm literally talking from the context they don't have none in the first place. How you gonna lower something and you don't even got any? And if you believe you had some, you definitely don't need to take lower than what what they already are. Now, what black women can stop doing is stop trying to justify their bad results and claiming it's something that it was. Man, True Tell, did you just come backstage? You wasn't back there already, were you?
No, I wasn't. I just came
Oh,
up.
okay. Well, let me just say real quick. Champ Car. Okay, matter of fact, there you go. Champ Car, I see you now, brother. It wasn't strong enough at first. Signal wasn't strong enough. But you got it. You got it, True Tell. You got it.
I would just say I'm offended by today's broadcast. I don't like y'all taking shots at hoes, all right? Even old hoes got some value in the system. I'm gonna just say she could teach some young men some stuff just like you were referencing. And she look alright for an old hoe, but she ain't gonna be no better than a hoe. So just let her be. Why everybody gotta criticize her for being an old hoe? Just let her be. All right? Just let her be. We need her at the party. She need to teach these younger ones how to how to appropriately interact with us. Who else gonna do it if she don't do it? But yeah, come on now, y'all. Stop. Let's just stop. Honestly, um, our women are the best shit talkers ever because you put a camera in front of them, and suddenly the most outstanding man is not good enough for them. But then you look at their history, they take whatever they can get their hands on, man. They bottom feeders, man. Let's just call it what it is and enjoy the show. And let's keep it that way. Just enjoy the show, man. Pull the popcorn out. We ain't got. Listen, nature is taking its course. Let's just go ahead and let nature do what it do.
Hey, is what it is, man. Is what it is. Okay, Champ Car, what you got for us, brother?
Happy Thursday to y'all and everything. I hope you're all having a good day.
Happy Thursday, brother.
I'm glad you took this. I'm glad you're doing this today because a lot of black women, a lot of them are just delusional as hell. Very delusional, and they listen to they create their own little group, the sisterhood, and they listen to each other, make terrible, idiotic decisions and everything else. And when they realize that when they turn 50 years old, they're single, they have no person in their life, not even children, they sit up there and complain and everything else. Well, why doesn't a man take me and everything else? Well, look at yourself and everything else. That Tracy Ellis Ross, she's sitting up there posting pictures of her body and everything else, and her bikini body and all that type of stuff. And now she's sitting up there worrying about, she don't have a man and everything. She don't want to go without a man and all that type of stuff. I mean, another perfect example, unfortunately, and she's a beautiful lady, is, trying to think of her name. The woman that played Foxy Brown. You know what I'm talking about?
Talking about Pam, what's her name?
Grier. Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Pam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We lost you. You said something about
Yeah.
Pam. We lost you.
Yeah,
But
Pam Grier. Pam Grier. She could have had any black man or any white man or any other ethnic racial man and everything else. But years old, single. She chose her profession rather than getting married and everything else. So these ladies throughout history have made some of the most idiotic, delusional decisions and everything else, and they're paying the price for doing it and everything else. So I'm gonna land my plane right there.
Can I do a quick analysis of us though?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I ain't never heard of a group of winners worrying about what losers gonna do about not being losers no more. I don't really care what's gonna happen to them. They chose the path, man. Somebody gotta lose, man. And hey, it's the niggas who chose to lose life. we ain't got to worry about what's gonna happen to them, man. If they die alone, they die alone. All we gotta do is make sure we hold. Sorry, somebody need to mute up. There we go. So we just need to worry about the suitable ladies doing, and we do need to worry about what the hoes is doing because they got to go to the parties. I mean, I know what he just said about Pam Grier. I ain't gonna say you wrong, player. But listen here, if I was in the 60s and 70s and I was at one of them parties, I'd want to see Pam Grier there. If that means she gonna have to not be married to be able to fulfill that position, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna argue with the choice she made in her life. I mean, just enjoy the benefits she brings. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Well, but I brought her up because she's a very attractive woman and everything else, and I just don't understand why, with all the men that she had and everything else, why did she not get married and everything else?
Well, some of it is what was said earlier about just too many options. A lot of women like to fall into the ideal of having options rather than just simply make a choice. A lot of women do deal with that. They get strangled by options. It's just too much to choose from, and I just can't choose one. And next thing you know, it's over with. They do that with shoes, as I think it was Shark that said that earlier. So now, if you do that with relationships, and I just can't choose one, next thing you know, you're 50.
Have any of y'all ever asked y'all wife what she want to eat? Go ahead and try it. When you get a girl, your wife, go ahead and ask her what you want to eat for dinner tonight. You go ahead and ask her and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, and the ones that are single and that are single are like beautiful women and everything else that we're talking about. Claudia Jordan, I mentioned Pam Grier and Vivica Fox, um, and Diana Ross's
But,
Tracy Ellis Ross. And
but
then you
this
have
is
this
the
another
thing.
beautiful lady by the name of Lolo Jones, who's a
What,
track runner and
what,
everything else, who looked just like Vanessa Williams. You figure that she could be with any man and everything else, including the white man, but still, and
what,
everything else. She's just
this is the
really
thing. I don't want to give too much focus to celebrities, but I do want people to have the understanding that celebrities are just regular people with fame and money. They still regular people. So even though they got famous, they still acting like black women. So what's the point in being famous and you still gonna act like the quote unquote stereotypical black woman? That fame and money cannot cover that. Fame and money is not gonna wipe away your attitude. Fame and money is not gonna wipe away issues that you have as a black woman. Now it can help you with the like you ain't got to worry about her being in debt possibly. You know what I'm saying? That probably ain't gonna be much of an issue. Which is possibly because she's famous, she ain't got a bunch of kids. Possibly, and I gotta say possibly because I used to always think Taraji P. Henson didn't have no kids until I found out she was a single mom too. Okay, so possibly she ain't got no kids, and
Yeah,
that's
she a single mom.
yeah, and
Yeah.
those are major issues for black men. Now, and there's a higher chance that she won't be overweight if she is a celebrity. It's a higher chance, not guaranteed. I mean, Gabrielle Sidibe is a celebrity, but not in the best shape. You know what I'm saying? So you can eliminate some of those things, but they still a black woman. They still have this attitude that black women are known for, and they taking that even though they're in celebrity lanes. But the thing is, celebrities don't really even exist. They're not even 1% of 1% of people when you really think about it. But you got regular everyday women who do this stuff, and they got more of the issues. And at the end of the day, how can as a man, if I see myself as trying to qualify for them, how am I ever gonna make the right choice? And that's something I don't think black men ever really think about. I need her to fit my standard. Me fitting her standard is just gonna ruin my life.
Roger.
Go ahead, brother.
I need your help. My wife wants to know if I want chicken, Do I want steak? Do I want kebabs? Do I want she wants a ground brown rice, white rice. I'm confused. I don't know what kind of what.
Nigga got all kind of good problems. It's like I'm confused.
Yeah, but what does my wife what does my wife want from me and everything
Oh,
else?
she doesn't she always makes me choose. She says I am the one to run the show.
Basically, stay out of her kitchen. That's what she's saying. Stay out of her kitchen. Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. You know,
As long as she keeps performing, I'll stay out of the kitchen.
There you go.
because that's a deal worth taking. See, when a woman is really trying to meet a man's standard, you know, you get things like that happening. You start having options on, well, baby, what you want to eat? You know, you want some chicken or you want some steak? Because either one I'm willing to cook for you. See, that's what happens when a woman is concerned with your standard. But when you concerned with hers, let's keep it real, y'all. There's a lot of men who've been with women and they've been totally concerned with their standards. And what do we normally get? Some version of chaos. It could be a little chaos. It could be a lot of chaos, but we normally gonna get some version of chaos because women are momentary thinkers. Just is what it is. You know, I got a running joke about how women don't think more than 4 minutes ahead. You know, and that probably doesn't shorten over time. Truth be told. And I say 4 minutes because back in the day, a woman would sit there through commercials. She, you know, guy be on the radio talking about, yeah, we'll be back with the newest, the latest from such and such. And they'll sit through the commercial to hear that song from such and such. We don't even really have that like that nowadays. So I don't even know if it's going to stay 4 minutes ahead. You can get her to wait that 4 minutes through the commercial so she can hear that new song she wanted to hear. But nowadays, that ain't necessarily necessary anymore. But looking at them to do stuff beyond 4 minutes ahead could be somewhat of a challenge. You know, now there's some women who are better than that. Yes, they are. They're normally married women. That's the tricky part.
Even they have their struggles because,
Yeah.
and I had to learn this the hard way, being married and trying to make plans for your family. It is probably not something you want to waste your time discussing with your wife. Just to give the younger fellas who might be married or thinking about getting married, you can't. It's not like you and your partners discussing a plan of what y'all gonna do. Yo, we gonna go here tonight. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. We gonna get this popping. We gonna get that popping. We gonna do this. If everybody do what they supposed to do, we gonna be good at the end. After you finish that whole strategy plan, everybody got in their head. Yo, I know what it's gonna look like at the end. Because if we do all of this, what he just said, it makes sense for it to be this at the end. That's not how women think. First of all, when your ass went through them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, they left you already. It's gone. And then when you got to the end to say, why are we doing all this? Because it's going to do this for us. They can't even comprehend. I'm sorry, not comprehend. They refuse to even acknowledge that whatever that goal was would actually significantly benefit you as a group. If it's not benefiting them right now, they don't care. It's not a benefit. Just so y'all know. So don't waste your energy. Take it from somebody who tried for several years. Like I don't talk financial planning with my wife. I don't talk about how we gonna save and what we should do to save. I don't discuss none of that with her. I just tell her, give me this. I just tell her every month, give me this amount of money for savings. I don't care what she does with the rest of her money. She got bills she gotta pay. Just make sure them bills get paid and give me this amount of money every month to go into the savings. After that, I don't care. Don't come to me when you broke. And making sure you taking care of the house. I don't do house duties because I pay too much money to do house duties. I've had to say that. I was like, I invest too much to have to do this kind of work. She was like, what? I was like, you want to switch? We can switch. And then she shut the hell up, and that was the end of that.
If I got to pick up a broom, this ain't working.
Yeah. Like, nah, I ain't got to clean no bathroom, no kid, me do dishes. I had to say it. Like, me? What? I was like, I do too much to have to do this. She said, "What you talking about?" My wife is a firecracker, so y'all hear me talking. It ain't like she's demure, and I be saying the shit that I'm saying, and it just go over good. It don't go over good in my house. She's a firecracker, so I gotta just be like, well, we could trade. You want to take the stuff I handle, and I'll take the stuff you handle. Then she shut the hell up and keep it moving.
Hey man, sometimes that's just the way it's got to be, y'all. Sometimes, because if you're married already, it's not an easy breakup. And I'm not a person who's going to encourage divorce, and I'm going to continue to encourage marriage. Marriage has never been a problem. The only problem has been the people who got married. The institution of marriage itself ain't never been the issue. Sometimes we just married the wrong one because we finally impressed her enough that she would say yes when we popped the question. And you weren't on point about her trying to impress you enough so you would pop the question. I'm not trying to pop a question and convince a woman to say yes. Her job is to make me want to pop the question. See, I know what my goal is. And unfortunately, a lot of black women just don't have that in their mindset that I'm supposed to get this guy to pop the question. They don't make the extra effort because we don't give them that as an expectation. Or we won't even tell them when we get rid of them, the few of us that do, why we got rid of them. We won't be real with them. We won't be real with them. We let stuff go. We're trained as men, as black men, we're trained to not be confrontational. So we don't tell them nothing. I'm just going, and I'm not saying just leaving sometime ain't the best method. It just depends on what's going on. But if we never tell them anything, then there's nothing for them to figure out. Okay.
I don't know, Roger. I don't know, man. I don't think, man, listen, man, when we cut ties, man, I don't owe you a goddamn thing. We're done. I'm just saying, if you want to figure out why I decided we cut ties, you can try to ask me if you want to, but I don't owe you that, right? That's like playing a game with somebody and they whoop they go in on you. You lose by 40 points, and you was only playing the 10, right? Now, somebody who wants to improve will go to him and be like, "Yo, how do you do that move you kept getting me on?" Right? Somebody who's interested in improving themselves would do that. But if somebody who's not interested in saying he beat me and I'm just walking away mad, forget that nigga. He ain't gonna continue to be a loser. You don't owe that nigga no explanation. If they're not interested in proving themselves, I'm not coaxing them to do it. That's on them.
Now, I can't argue with that because that makes perfectly logical sense, y'all. That makes perfectly logical sense. And as men, we got to take stances. Now, I've told y'all before that I had a young lady who got mad. Okay, she got mad. I forget what it was about. It wasn't even important enough for me to even remember what she got mad about. Okay, she said she was gonna stay the night at her friend's house. I said, cool. I didn't even argue with her about it. I just said, cool. How you gonna get there? My friend on her way to pick me up. All I said was make sure you pack all your stuff and take it with you. She said, what? I said, pack all your stuff and take it with you. Because if you mad enough that you need to spend the night out, there's no point in you coming back. It's that simple at the end of the day. We got to take real stances about stuff. Now, what happened? I had a standard. She didn't have the standard. I had the standard. My standard is you don't get to be with me and then just because we had an argument of some kind that you just going to stay out all night. I'm not going to set that as a pattern in my household. No, if you got to stay out all night, you might well stay out, period. Once the night over, we over. That's just how it worked for me. It's not an issue because I have standards. I don't expect women to have standards, y'all. Just on some real, I don't really expect women to have standards. I want them to have them. I'm not saying I don't want them to have standards, but truth be told, I know at this point in the game that the average one is not going to have standards at all. So the best I can do is, hey, here's my idea of what should be going on and see if you like it. But her having standards, I don't even think that's a real thing to most women. which is why I don't understand why men are trying to kill themselves to meet some woman's standard that she don't have. She just had an ideal of what to tell you at that moment. She ain't got no actual standard. You know?
She don't. Most women. So okay, all right. So guys, just so that we understand, when you talk to most men, my generation, the generation before mine, the generation after mine, you can hear the leniency on, hey, should I, because she got low standards, should I treat her accordingly? Because the first thing we'll do is, well, it's been hard. She's a black woman. This and that and the third. But none of that is really an excuse for the choices that they made, right? For a woman, right? Her trial is being respectable while being accosted often. For a man, your trial is to be respectable and honorable while trying to obtain the knowledge and experience that a respectable woman would want, right? So it's two facets and two different mountains to climb. But what most women do, and men too, we do it to our own women, we make it like our mountain, right? You have to accomplish this as a woman. You have to accomplish that as a woman. You got to go do this. Like literally, we've had discussions where dudes is like, well, if she got a good job or she started a business and is successful, she's a good woman. Like, what the hell does that got to do with being a woman? That's not even a woman's mountain to climb. That's not their obstacle, right? Their obstacle is to avoid and be better than all the stuff that's being thrown at them. They're literally being given the opportunity to degrade themselves daily. And now they've changed it. They've changed it to make it seem like it ain't really that. I'm just learning what do they say about, what is it called when they say, hey, I gotta learn myself? You're like, you mean get penis for the next 4 years and then decide to settle down? Is that what you like? They'll say stuff like that. They graft the man's life challenge onto theirs and make it seem like we're the same. And it's like, ma'am, you get penis thrown at you like literally every second that you're alive, whether you're ugly or pretty. Even ugly women get penis thrown at them. So the fact that you can say, hey, yeah, I got all these bodies is ridiculous because you ain't have to put in no effort for it. All you had to do was stand there and smile. And in some cases, not even smile. Dudes just rolled up on you. On the other hand, men, you ain't gonna get, if you don't got no kind of game or something to offer these chicks, you ain't gonna get nothing. So they're not supposed to, it's not even the same league. I won't even say league. It's not even the same type of game that we play. It's just not. They playing volleyball, we playing soccer, right? Or we playing football and they playing frisbee. It's just different. It's not the same. And we gotta get in our minds. We can't judge them the way we want to judge ourselves. We're not the same. I don't know about y'all, but which nigga here want a chick with 100 bodies? Whether she's 51 or whether she's 21.
Right. Don't neither one sound good. and that's real talk. Because if you see a woman, if you just go to a random corner and you see a woman out there every day, you suspect she making money. If you see a random man on the same corner every day, you expect that he's struggling with money. Okay? It's either that or he's selling drugs.
Bing, bing. That is a good point. You right. You are right. He's struggling and she not. You. Even if she look like she's struggling, you be like, she gonna make a little bit of something. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I am not saying she got to be selling anything, but if you go, you just happen to drive down the street and she on that same corner every day. Can't nobody convince you of what she don't do. Okay. That's real stuff. Yeah, you ever meet Susan? Or who? Yeah, she be on the corner. She be on 43rd.
Yeah. Oh, Susie. Oh.
No, I ain't never talked to her. I seen her out there. Well, she's a good girl. You need to date her. No, I'm good.
I'm good.
No, bro, she don't do that. Bro, I see on that corner every day. I'm straight. Bro, she ain't like that. Bro, no.
And then a third dude pop into the conversation. Oh, you mean Susie that be on the track? And niggas like, no, she ain't on no track. She just out there.
Yeah.
No, nigga, that's a track.
I don't even know if your father could convince you that Susan ain't like that. And you trust him. No, man, I know Susan. I know her whole family, man. She good people. Bro, she be on 43rd every time I drive by.
She good people. Then the elephant in the room going to say, what the hell she doing on 43rd every day, nigga, if she's so good?
Right. You gonna have to look at your own father like good people how. Good people how.
Insanity, B. Insanity, man.
What make us so good, Pops?
How you know? What's going on? Tell me.
Yeah. So it's just a whole different world for them. It's just a whole different world. And that's why I say, black men, we got to stop with all this women got standard talk because it don't make sense at the end of the day. Y'all have been educated to try to make women men. So I'm not saying it didn't happen to you. And you see it every time men be saying stuff like, men say, well, the problem with some of you men is y'all don't qualify for these women y'all want. Now, let's really think about that. If you holler at women and you get women, that means you actually get the women you want. You made an assessment about the women and you threw her back because once you got to know her, she wasn't good enough for you. Some people, you can't get the women you want. Now you did get the women you want. You went after women, you pursued them, you got them, but you threw them back. Now I understand that's hard for some black men to really kind of measure out because you never broke up with anybody. So I get it. But for those of us who threw somebody back, you went out there fishing, you got you a woman, but then you threw her back. Your issue is not getting the women you want because you got the woman you want because you got her. Your issue is when you got her, you found out she wasn't good enough for you. So you threw her back. That is totally different than a woman going out trying to get a man to try to get her. She got a different problem. Okay. When a woman says she couldn't get the man she wants, that's an actual thing because it's her job to qualify for somebody. It's on her. See, no matter who I date, she wasn't going to take care of me, period. I already got that understanding. You know what I'm saying?
Now, the way they warp it, though, Roger, is they make it seem like they're the man, right? So they'll say, so this is what they do to the niggas this is what they do to the men they didn't even want to be with to begin with. They let them niggas in so they can give them an offer, i.e., offer for marriage, when they know they don't want to really be married to this nigga, nor be a good wife to him, because they're not going to be a good wife. The whole plan is if I do get married and I feel a kind of way, I'm getting out, right? And I'm not going to put my foot forward to be a good wife. So, hell, I don't think I should do this. But they use that as fuel for saying I'm valuable, when it was a con the whole time. You didn't get approached by the man that you value to actually be your man. You just went with somebody who, because you were desperate, you just went with this nigga, and he didn't fit the bill that you wanted in what you say you want. Say when you say this is my standards. He doesn't fit those standards. Now I can't respect somebody who say I have standards, but you ain't never messed with a dude that fills any of those standards. You hear them out here talking. He got to have this. He got to have that. He got to have this. And you'd be like, well, have you ever dated a man that's like that? No, I haven't found him. Well, there's a reason for that. Either he don't exist or you don't qualify.
And the truth is, the reason you're not a virgin is because those are not actual standards. It's just something you thought that would sound good when you said it. That's all that was. It wasn't a standard. If it was a standard, you would have made men meet that standard to mess with you. You don't. And that's what the reality is, y'all. Okay?
Not only that, after you spent a lifetime violating that standard, suddenly now you think it's cool to have it now. Like, this ain't never been your standard. That's like me saying, hey, you know what? I spent my whole life killing people, but now I'm gonna spend the rest of my life and I ain't gonna kill nobody. You're already a murderer, sir. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, how do you, like, like, you've already violated the standard, player. I mean, great that you're not going to do it from this moment on, but it's not like you get points now because you following the standard you should have been following the whole time. Basically, you lost, and you're just trying to be par. And that's what it is. You trying to be average. It's crazy.
To me, it's almost like a woman saying that I'm celibate, and I just be like, oh, okay, what's the point? Okay, what you mean? I'm trying to make sure I'm doing a better job, and I'm trying to make sure I picked the girl. You ain't no virgin. Like, you telling me you celibate is only telling me you ain't trying to have sex with me. You've already had sex. I can't prove you celibate. You want to date me and do what a lot of dumb women do. You want to date me and make me wait because you may think I have potential to be some kind of good man in your life. And the men that you don't think have potential to be a good man in your life, you're going to give them sex right away. Now, I already know this about women. So what would make me think you're being celibate to me while not having sex with somebody else? What is the point? Why are you trying to take me through an exercise that I don't believe in the first place? You're not celibate. You're sexually active. You are a virgin as a woman, or you are a sexually active woman. It's one of the two. You don't get to take it back. Okay? You don't get to take it back.
You better than me, because in my real life, my wife hates this about me. My sister has done that. I'm celibate now. I said, "Oh, you a virgin?" See, I do that because I need you to understand what you're saying don't make no sense in your situation. I've said that to my sister, and she got so mad at me, she stopped talking to me for like a month because I did it in front of multiple people. I did it in front of multiple people. I was like, "Oh, you a virgin?" Listen, man, my cousins and her friends that was around, they were like, "Oh, ooh." I was like, "What? What did I say?" So, what are you being celibate for? She has a kid, right? I'm like, she's my older sister. I'm like, what are you being celibate for if you got a kid already?
Telling the truth. Telling the truth.
I know like 3 or 4 of your boyfriends. What are we talking about? Like, your ex-boyfriends, I know 3 or 4 of them. I talked to 2 of them still. Like, what are you saying? what are we talking about?
Delusional.
Yeah, she said that she stopped talking to me for like a good month or 2. But I mean, come on, man. She set herself up for that one. Did she really not want me to take the shot? I mean, I was like, "Oh, you a virgin now?"
I know. I told her.
I'm a little bit delusional, so I need you to contact the Chicago Bulls and tell them I need $50 million for a 10-year contract. I'll be ready to go next year.
Okay, I just need 15% of that, and I make it. I'm gonna go in there just as delusional and put that on the table. If we can make that happen, I'm in, brother. I know right where he at. After the show, I'd be headed right down there. Real talk.
I'm ready. I'll go.
You know what I'm saying? That's real. We're gonna make that happen. And y'all, I have told a woman directly to her face. A woman I know, you know what I'm saying, known her for years. She already had a child, and she told me that was gonna be her new strategy on the date market. She said, I'm gonna be celibate from here on out, right? Now I chuckled when she said this, and I'm like, are you serious? She said, yeah. I say, look here. I done known you for years. It's possible for me to believe you because I actually know you at a personal level. But I'm going to be real with you. If any woman told me that she's celibate, she's a liar. I don't care what she's actually doing. There is no way in the world I'm going to believe some woman telling me she's celibate, that she's actually celibate. I'm not going to believe. And I'm not even saying it ain't celibate women out there. Because I know if you look hard enough, you can find just about anything. But I don't believe you. There is no. I've said this many times. I'm going to say it many times again, y'all. If you are not a virgin, there is no number you can tell me that I'm gonna believe. It just ain't happening. Okay, it's just not happening. I'm not gonna believe anything you say about not having sex once you become sexually active, because I know once a human becomes sexually active, that is one of the hardest things for them to stop doing. That's just a human thing. Just is what it is. Now, I know people claim women can stop better than men, but when I start looking at stuff, it's a lot of lying women out there who be getting it on, still claiming they not. Okay, I don't even know why adults make claims like that. It don't even make sense to me. Now, and the only time I even give anybody some credit, you gotta literally have a come to Jesus moment. If you gonna go do the religious thing and it's something about God, I give you some room. Okay, but even the people in church sin. I'm just saying, I grew up in church, so you ain't, I'm not confused at all. Okay, the saints ain't perfect. They pray for forgiveness too. So why even tell me you said it? I ain't gonna believe you. Okay, and that's just the real thing, y'all. That's just a real thing for me. And if I'm dealing with a woman and she doesn't give me sex quickly, she's already told me through her body language she don't rock with me like that. I ain't got time to play with women, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If we done went out a couple times, you ain't did nothing, I already know what time it is. There's no reason for me to keep taking you anywhere thinking if I just do right, if I impress her, she gonna give me some. Women don't operate like that. Now, I just accept what women are. That's why I look both ways before I cross the street. A lot of you men, y'all are told that, if you just keep going out with her, she gonna turn around and give you some. If you just keep showing her that you interested, she gonna think you for real and she's gonna value you. How do you know she going out with you because of you? Women take dates because they bored. Do y'all know that? Women literally go out with men because they're bored. They at home. They don't, in their mind, they don't have nothing to do. And they will go out with a man they have no interest in simply because they have nothing to do. Now, I'm pretty sure some of y'all done heard about the women who go out with men because they hungry and they want to get a free meal. I'm telling y'all, it don't even take that. A woman would simply go out with a man that she does have, but she has no interest in, literally because she's just bored. She's not even trying to get the free meal. It'll come anyway, but she literally just bored. If ain't nothing happening in the bedroom, how am I supposed to think that you like me? Because you know what? It didn't take no other guy marrying you to get some. It didn't take that. He didn't need to take you. He didn't need to marry you for you to give it up. So why would I have this impression that if I wait 90 days, it's like some women start listening to that Steve Harvey. You know how long I'm gonna be gone before 90 days come up if you ain't gave me none? But in 90 days, I would have forgotten your name. And that's real talk, y'all. That's what's gonna happen with me in 90 days. She tell me she don't want to give up. I ain't saying we have to have that discussion, but if it's in her mind that she's not gonna have sex with me till at least 90 days go by the time that 90th day actually come, I'm gonna be done already forgot her name. And that's real talk. Because y'all, I'm a realistic person. She not that important. If you're not my woman, you're not that important. There have been women that I've went out with. If I walk past them on the street, I ain't gonna even recognize them. They never made to the status of being my woman. I don't remember their face like that. That's real talk. You probably can put them in the same outfit I seen them in. I ain't gonna remember them. Now I don't understand why a bunch of women that ain't your woman is so important to some men. I don't get it. Okay? I'm just telling y'all straight up. I don't get it. She's important to me when she becomes my woman. She's not important just because she exists to me. Okay? Shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. He chimed in with the $3 on the Cash App. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it, brother. Do appreciate it. Y'all, if you are new over here and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel and understand if you like this real talk, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you live, Chicago time. Okay. But see, this is the thing, y'all. I know they ain't got no standards, so therefore I operate as if they don't have standards. Okay? A woman can tell me she has standards. We can have all types of conversations. My question is, are you paying for the date? Because if you ain't paying for the date, you might as well keep them standards to yourself. Because they don't mean nothing to me. What I care about your standards if you're not paying. You know, I've asked you this before, truth, or at least I know I've said it to you before. If I come out to where you are and you say, "Man, Roger, I got you. We eating, we going out to eat, and I got you." I ain't asking where you taking us, bro. I don't care where you taking us, because you done told me you paying. Why am I asking questions? You ain't got to know nothing about what I like. There will be something on that menu that I can enjoy. I don't care where you take me to. I'm gonna find something on that menu to eat. I'm not worried about what the caliber of the restaurant is, because I'm not paying for it. All right. And a lot of men, y'all think a first date means I got to impress this woman. I want to make sure I meet her standard, because I need her to be in my life so I can pour money into her. So I need to impress her so I can get permission to pour money into her. Man, that sounds cockamamie. I'm a man. I'm going to look out for my woman. If we get married, of course, I'm going to look out for my wife. If I got to beg your permission to look out for you, that ain't the permission I need. Y'all, we can gain all type of permissions. Some permissions ain't going to do nothing for you, though. I don't need the permission of a woman that I don't want to deal with. It just is what it is. I'm not begging no woman to take care of her. It's not going to happen. It ain't going to ever happen. My wife will not be able to get me to beg to take care of her. If my wife comes to the conclusion that me looking out for her is too much of a struggle for her, we going to have a problem. What we not going to have is a relationship. I guarantee you that. I ain't begging no woman to take care of her. It's not going to happen. I understand women want to be viewed as important in a man's life. I am not begging to take care of anyone. Don't make sense to me. You go ahead, turn around. You finna say something? Go ahead.
No. I was going to just say I was waiting, but I was going to say whatever you do, it's always good. If you do something positive, she's going to say, "Good job." If you do something negative, it's your fault. If you do something positive, it's your fault. So you better do what you need to do, because it's always going to be your fault.
Well said, brother. Well said. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that as a closing statement, because we are getting very close to that 3-hour mark. So what I'm gonna do now at this point, truth teller, do you got a closing statement you want to make? Now, truth teller may have had to step away, y'all. He may have had
I
to
think he
step
dropped
away.
out.
Yeah. Well, now I ain't gonna say too much, but I know he be doing some stuff. I just say that he be doing stuff while he on the show sometimes. So he may have had to step away, y'all. But I think I done gave y'all a good piece of what you needed to hear. Again, if you like this type of content, well, we're gonna get to the real stuff over here, y'all. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time. No matter where you happen to live, Chicago time. Be over here, y'all. We're going to keep it all the way real. I'm going to say everything that needs to be said. I'm going to say get your sons and your daughters to listen. Now, I make adult content, so keep that in mind. But get your sons and your daughters to let them learn some of this stuff good and early, y'all. Let them learn some of this stuff. Now, with a parent's permission, I welcome any child to listen, as long as they got their parents' permission. So get your friends, y'all. It might be some stuff you want to say to a person, and you know what? You don't really want to say it like that to them, but you can have them listen to an episode of the Roger Report Live. We'll say it. You won't necessarily have to. Now, I got somebody backstage. Are you coming for the after show or are you coming for the show? Okay. No, well, let me say this. For anybody who's a regular, or sometimes y'all be chilling with us backstage, if you come toward the end of a show, which is all good, but if you want to say something on air, hurry up and make a comment in the private chat so I know that you want to say something on air. If you don't say nothing, I'm just assuming you're going to come for you're coming for the after show. I'll do it that way. Okay. I'll just assume you're coming for the after show unless you hurry up and say something when I see you come backstage. All right. That makes sense to me. So that'll be the way we do it. So y'all, everybody like the stream. Everybody like the stream. Share the content out, y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 9 a.m. Chicago time. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.
Yeah, yeah.